All right. Oh, we're on air. Thank you for joining Chatterbox number 29. What a terrible morning. Coming at you live from Untitled Studios, which is totally a real place and not just a pretend thing.
Yeah, it's totally not.
You're gonna better at that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, I'm here as well. My name is Daythwan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We should introduce ourselves, right? Stabby and Daythwan.
That sounds a little too formatish, dude. I don't know if we want to fuck with that kind of shit.
No, I'm just fucking tired. My first night at work. So, like, my first night of the week when I work is always a Wednesday night, and so it takes me a little while to get used to going to sleep that early. So for a little while, I'm usually kind of like out of it and tired for like the first like Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, takes a little getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah, exactly. Getting used to sleeping early because I like end up staying on my nights off. I stay up until like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning because that's just kind of normal.
Right.
Where I think most adults when they're not working, and then going back to sleep at like midnight takes a couple days to really adjust fully.
Yeah. It's kind of a strange schedule you got too. Anytime you're working graveyard is going to be tough, dude.
No, I get paid to sleep. It's not bad, man. Like I had a client come in and what is it? Took like to access some Tums at like 2 in the morning last night, but that's like a 5-minute little thing, and then that usually doesn't happen. Like most of the nights, I just sleep the whole time.
That's a pretty good gig, man.
Yeah, I usually get about 6.5 hours of sleep. It's not bad.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I assume occasionally you have to get up and deal with shit, right? But for the most part, not really.
Most of the time when I'm dealing with stuff in the middle of the night, it's giving somebody like ibuprofen or like a little Ativan or like some Tums or something because they can't access medications without staff. We have to have all the medications locked up. Because, there are some people who would probably just start taking other people's, like, narcotics, like the Ativan and, like, that kind of shit.
Right.
And maybe getting toilet paper out for somebody or, like, an extra blanket or adjusting the AC unit was, like, a thing that I did. Oh, yeah. Hey, William in the chat. What's up, man? And then once in a blue moon, there's, like, an emergency at night, but most of the time, it's just I have to stay up a little bit late because somebody ran away like before I got there.
All right. Yeah. So if that's majority of the time, you're just sleeping.
Yeah, and then even when I'm staying up late, it's usually not any later than I would have stayed up just reading before I go to sleep anyway. Like most of the time, like an AWOL or somebody going to the hospital and getting brought back by a cab, it's all resolved by like midnight.
Yeah, not bad.
It's pretty damn good, man. And I want to say I make like 10, 15 hours, $11 an hour, something like that. I can't remember what the minimum wage is now in California.
Cool.
It's not good money, but you're sleeping, so.
Yeah. Like you said, it kind of gives you, well, if you do get a second job, it would be a lot easier than the typical second job would be.
No, I will. I just need to keep losing weight. It's probably going to take like a year or something, maybe a year and a half, 2 years to really get back in shape because, one of the things that a lot of people don't fucking get, and I'm not like, oh, no fat shaming, but there's a lot of stupid fucking people that think there's a switch you flip and then suddenly you're in shape. And the reality is it took you a while to put it on. It's going to take you a while to take it back off. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah. Although, honestly, I can drop weight pretty much like a pound a day if I fucking... with very little effort, dude.
It doesn't take as long to lose weight if you really dedicate yourself as it does to put the weight on usually, but, like, it still does take time.
Oh, yeah,
it's absolutely. Not, it's not like an overnight thing. Like, a lot of people seem to think, like, in a month or two, you'll be straight up in shape. But if you're, like, 100 pounds overweight, you're looking at probably... 6 months, 7 months at least.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, I remember I lost like this is a few years back. I remember I lost like 30 pounds within a month, and it took me another 2 months to lose another 30. And then, that actually got me down to a pretty decent weight. Now I have to lose a lot more than that because I got even way fatter than I was then. But
yeah, that yo-yo effect thing is real bad.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of me. Honestly, I eat so fucking horrifically that it really doesn't take much for me to lose weight. It's pretty much if I don't drink soda, and if I like wait till I'm hungry to eat. Like I don't eat out of fucking boredom, you know.
Yeah,
That's pretty much all it takes.
Stop eating lunch. Like for me, like I need to cut my breakfast down a little bit. Like I don't eat unhealthy in breakfast, but like I'm not really that hungry come lunchtime, and I started being just like, maybe I should just have a fucking banana or something.
And it's weird though. If you eat, I don't know if this is the case with you, but I noticed if I don't eat breakfast, I'm really not that hungry at lunch. But if I do, I'm actually hungrier at lunch.
Oh, it's the opposite for me, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I don't eat breakfast, I'll be starving at lunch. But if I eat breakfast, I'm not really that hungry during lunch.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on how much I eat for breakfast too. Like if I eat a lot, then I'm not hungry. But if I just have a minor thing, like a fucking Pop-Tart and a fucking Starbucks double shot or something, then I'll usually be hungry by lunch.
I would be freaking out with anxiety if I ate that and drank that from all the sugar and caffeine.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. My diet's fucking horrible, dude.
Oh man, well it's just the caffeine gets to me now because I quit caffeine a while ago.
Oh right,
so when I have a little bit now, it's so much stronger than it ever was. Because when I had it all the time, it didn't bother me at all.
Right.
But now that I have it in so long, it's just like every once in a while I'll have like a Coke or something, or they'll be like I'll have a root beer and I won't check to see if it's like caffeine free.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Root beer is a weird one. Like half of them are caffeine free, and then half of them aren't.
Yeah, it's so fucking bizarre. Like I don't want caffeine in my root beer. I just want a root beer. You know, like especially because root beer floats or like cream soda floats are so good.
Yeah,
and you tend to have that like after dinner. You know, and then you want to go to bed, but you don't want to have like a big shot of caffeine right before sleep. At least I don't. I'm sure it's for some people.
Yeah, for me though, it's again caffeine does the opposite because I'm pretty sure I have ADHD or whatever. Like I've never been diagnosed, but it has to be, dude. So caffeine doesn't really do anything for me other than after it wears off, like pretty quickly. I'm kind of like it makes me drowsy, but it calms me down. I don't know. It's like the opposite effect. Like caffeine actually kind of calms me down. Yeah, it's weird.
Get that caffeine in your system, man.
Yeah. The sugar.
Oh, go ahead.
So I think after the sugar wears off, because the sugar gives me a little amp or whatever. Even that's not much, but once that sugar wears off, because it doesn't stay in your system really that long, kind of burns out pretty quick. After that, I can usually sleep better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like everybody's got their own thing, like what works for them and what doesn't. So
yeah. Listening to oddly enough, do you know who Rin Michaelis is?
No, never heard that name.
Yeah, it was somebody that Bass Mama had kind of shouted out once. She has this way of speaking that's really it's really unique, and for some reason when I listen to it, like it fucking knocks me right out, dude. She's some black chick, and she talks. It's hard to explain, but she has just again a unique way of speaking that, for whatever reason, whether I'm interested in what she's saying or not, it fucking knocks me out in like 5 minutes.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Like, I get this thing now where, like, if I'm not interested in something, I just start to nod off. And it isn't it's the worst because, like, I have 2-hour trainings once a month that I have to go to that have nothing to do with my job, so I just don't care.
Oh, jeez.
And I'll literally find myself starting to nod off in those.
Yeah, that's a tough gig, man. If it's gotten so nothing to do with your job and it's probably not useful anyway, you're like, fuck this. Your brain just kind of shuts down. So
the company I work for partnered up with this Fruit Loop moron company to open the program I work at. So it's partially run by both. And I had to go to a special training run by this other company. I'm very carefully not saying the names because they're not public companies.
Right.
And God, they're so fucking dumb. Just so fucking dumb. They're talking about recovery, like for people who are addicts and stuff. And the whole fucking thing was essentially like, you just got to let people do whatever they want to do.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus.
I had to sit through 2 hours of it, man. 2 fucking hours.
Wow. I bet you had a hard time not fucking saying something, I'm guessing.
Well, some of it made sense. Like, yo, people should be allowed to smoke however many cigarettes they want a day. Yeah, that I totally get that, man. I'm dealing with a grown up. I'm not dealing with a little kid. If they want to fucking smoke all their cigarettes and run out of money and not have cigarettes for the rest of the month, that's on them. They're gonna have to deal with it, man.
Right.
Although there's also the balance of, in the group homes like where I work, where the people live there, then they start harassing and bullying other people for cigarettes. So it's like, in some respects, it's like maybe we can't do that for that person.
Right.
Because otherwise we're going to have to throw them out because they're harassing people and eventually it'll cost their placement. And if that's the only issue, then by, monitoring the cigarettes.
Yeah, rationing them so they don't run out.
Person, then maybe that's worth it just because then they're not like in a mental health hospital.
Right.
Especially if that's the only problem.
Right, yeah. It'd be weird.
And then, like, we can't let people go wherever they want to go. They were talking about you should just let people do what they want to do during the day. And it's like, we can't. Licensing will shut us down if we do.
Right.
We literally have to know where everyone is at all times because everybody that is in our program is conserved. So we literally, by law, have to know because we have the same responsibility as like a parent would. Like, we have to know where they are and that they're at a safe place.
Right.
If they lie to us and go somewhere, they didn't tell us that that's not on us. But, we at least made as much of an effort as we could to, keep track of
supervise them. Yeah, but telling any addict, especially when I assume they're all relatively early in recovery, telling an addict they can do whatever you want is a
the people in our program are like half recovered in some cases. And totally have done it for years in some others. Because this is more about mental health. We're more about mental health. Recovery is just incidental because a lot of people in mental health use drugs.
Yeah.
But like
there's coping mechanism.
We still have people who just keep doing meth. Like we have a dude, like if he isn't with staff, he will go out and do meth every fucking time. Or he'll go out and drink every single time and go out and steal shit either way. Like he goes and gets either high or drunk, and then he goes and steals shit from big stores. That's all he will do if he's not like locked up, essentially.
Wow.
And he essentially, like when he goes out with staff, he has to stay within 4 feet, and even then he won't follow any directions.
Right.
Because he'll go out and pound coffee. And the thing is, with people on like substantial amounts of mental health medications, caffeine can fuck you up. Like really fuck you up. Like this dude ends up like with really bad anxiety for like the rest of the day from caffeine. To the point where that's got to be medication.
A weird. Yeah, that's got to be a weird interaction. All the fucking psych meds plus a shitload of caffeine.
Yeah, and this dude, even if he'll just ignore you if you take him out. Like I haven't done it, but from all I've read in there, we have a log where we log our shift, whatever happened, so that the next guy can read whatever happened during the last couple shifts and just have an idea of what's up.
Right.
That every time they take him out, man, he just ignores them and he'll go out and just start drinking coffee and just tell him to fuck off. And it's like, I don't know why the dude's still there. There's no reason for us to have him. He just can't handle the program.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, are you guys usually fully booked or whatever you want to call it?
We usually try to keep it as close to full as possible. It's a 12-person program. Like right now we have 11.
Yeah, but I assume there's a lot of times when someone else could be filling that fucking spot that guy's taken up.
Yep.
And that's what's fucked up. It might be someone that genuinely wants to fucking do well. You got somebody like that that's fucking up all the time.
Oh, we have the worst situation, right? So one of the clients, his mommy is way up in mental health licensing. It's her job.
Oh, Jesus.
So nobody gets to decide whether or not they want him. If he wants to be in your program, you have to put him in, or your program will get fucked.
God damn.
This bitch abuses her authority all the time.
That's fucked up, man.
He will go out and do meth constantly and refuse to do UAs, urinalysis.
Jesus.
And then we can't do anything about it because mommy won't let us, kick him out. So he basically fucks. He's really the one that's kind of fucking the program right now. If we could get him out of there, it would make a huge difference because then it would be like one of the bigger sources of meth in the house would just be gone.
Right.
And a lot of other people would be fucking with it if they didn't have it brought to them by this asshole.
kind of a perfect example of fucking the fact that they shouldn't be fucking able to do whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is exactly why I'm sat through that whole 2-hour thing just going, you are fucking retarded. Like, that is so dumb.
Well, I'm just thinking back to when I first got clean, dude, and holy shit, my brain was a fucking mess, dude. You know, I look back at decisions and I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking stupid. That was dumb. Holy shit, I can't believe I did that shit. You know? So, yeah. And seriously, I'm not talking about like a couple weeks, dude. I'm talking about like almost a year, dude. Maybe longer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's really
it takes a long time, dude, to get back to anything resembling normal fucking brain function.
For a lot of people with serious addiction, having a really rigid structure is extremely helpful.
Right.
They don't have to sit and make like the choices for a while until they've gotten to the point where they're more comfortable in their recovery, and then you start looking at like, hey, you're gonna have to live on your own eventually. So let's start working on it.
Sorry, I was just reading the Akinara one. Kick him in the balls to make it look like an accident.
Nah.
Yeah, glad you can make it, by the way.
Like, he's not a bad guy. He's a nice guy. It's just, it's a pain in the ass because we can't really do anything about, him being there. It's his mom that I hate more than anyone else.
Yeah, and that's the reason he does what he does. I'm sure. I mean, you can't say for sure, I guess, but I'm pretty sure that would be the reason why. Yeah.
He knows his mom's going to back him up.
So there's no consequences. You give a fucking addict no consequences, dude. You're fucked.
So the company I work at least when I started there, and this is kind of like showing a trend in mental health in general where it's going. But when I started, it was all about trying to use natural consequences as much as possible, or at least simulate the natural consequences. So, somebody's not going to go to jail. We don't want people to go to jail. So if they, steal something, we'll try to work it out with the place they stole it from so they don't. But then we'll put them on a household where they can't leave the house for like, a couple of months.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's something that simulates a little bit of the consequences of your actions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like being in prison, or kind of like house arrest, I guess would be.
Essentially, yeah. Put them on house arrest where they just can't leave without like staff and stuff. So if they have to go to the doctor's appointment, they can go, but they can't go and hang out like at the mall or go to like the library or hang out at any other kind of day program.
Yeah. Right.
And, that's the kind of thing we started, and it was incredibly effective.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them motivation for change. There's a genuine.
Yeah. Plus, again, actually dealing with that's the thing. Again, with us addicts, is we're fucking really good at manipulating people and really good at weaseling out of fucking shit, and not having to fucking face consequences for the shit we do. So having to actually have that happen and realize, oh shit, I might not be able to do shit, and I'll get away with it. That's huge, man.
Exactly, absolutely. And it's the same with people with severe mental health issues. Like, they have to have consequences, or they don't have any motivation to change.
Yeah.
And our court system is set up so that they essentially never have consequences.
Yeah, because they'll just blame the illness and be like, "Oh shit! Well, they have this thing wrong with them, so they're not responsible for their actions or something." It's like,
90% of the time, that's bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I know it can definitely fucking predispose somebody to a certain action, but they can still, even if it's difficult, they can stop themselves from doing the shit, dude.
Even a sociopath knows that what they're doing is wrong. Otherwise, why would they hide it?
Yeah, they might not understand why it's wrong.
Yeah,
because they think anything. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Obviously,
going to great pains to hide the evidence and make sure nobody finds out. You knew you did was wrong. You had every piece of you absolutely knew.
Yeah,
that's what needs to be. I think the what do you call it?
Like the determining factor or the mitigating
the factor. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If I just completely lose the ability to use words for a minute, that's cool.
Yeah, like if it was just something completely random, you're like, what the fuck? They didn't even try to, cover it up. Like, okay, you're just nuts. But yeah, like I said, even then you got to kind of be locked away.
Yeah, some people do, man. Some people just can't. They're not safe to be out, and that's one of the things that isn't really taken into account. And some people just aren't. They're not safe to be out in the general public ever. It's probably never going to be the case that they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, the other thing that's really fucked up in mental health is there's no difference between where we put criminally insane and just insane people.
Wow.
So, you find somebody who fucking ate like 10 people and like fucked the dog. That guy's going in the same place with the guy who just, hears voices and can't fucking hold a job.
Wow, that's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the fucking patients are the ones that are making the rules almost.
You're knocking arrows. Fucking brutal, fucking old world on the chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get them a couple of whores if they're keeping clean. Right. Beat the shit out of them if they're not. That's a little harsh.
Oh man. Yeah. I went to the doctor today, and he's he's an alcoholic and he does addiction and all that shit. And he was telling me how like somebody broke into his office and fucking like jacked his bike, laptops, prescription pads, fucking checkbook and all this shit. And apparently he got the names of one of them, of the person, because they're trying to fill these prescriptions, whatever.
Oh god.
And he got like the name and address of the guy and phone number, and fucking called him and was like, hey, if you give me my bike back, I won't have to have somebody come kill you.
God damn.
I was like, God damn, doc, fucking relax. And even then he was like, I don't have the means to do that, but still,
brutal.
Yeah, he's nuts, man. I fucking, it's weird because he's been clean for like 37, 38 years, but he still has these like fucking anger issues, man. Like he's 60, like almost 70 years old. And he still fucking goes off like that, man.
I got mad respect for that, though. He'll probably get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Although he said he was talking to another guy that told him, he was like, dude, I used to be a bike thief. Like, you're not getting your bike back. Immediately, those serial numbers come off. They paint it. Like, you're not getting your bike back. And if you do, it's going to look nothing like the bike like it did before it got stolen. Yeah, I told him, what's wrong? You don't have enough Bitcoin to hire a hitman?
Yeah, really. Silk Road, baby.
Oh, damn. The deep web, nobody will ever know.
Did you hear about that? Hugh Hefner passed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why I titled it, What a Terrible Morning, with like Mourning. Yeah, there's already people trying to fucking cash in on his death, too.
Wow.
Fucking, like, I saw some people talking about him. He was an evil guy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, man, that's cool. I get it. You're not a fan of porn. Like, get over it. So I
don't know, man. I mean, he's, I can't say I wouldn't fucking date 7 chicks if I could fucking pull it off.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they're not fucking coerced. You know what I mean? They're not fucking coerced into anything.
Yeah, no, he pays them really well. Like, let's be honest, they're hookers. They're really high-end hookers, and they're getting a lot of money for it.
Right.
He's definitely taking care of them in a big way, and they're totally down with that. Otherwise, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
None of my business, man.
Right. Yeah, like I said, he's not doing anything illegal that I know of, or didn't do anything illegal that I know of.
No, he was totally cool. Nobody was ever coerced to do anything with Playboy. That was always like a total, like, they would just offer you money.
Yeah, it's weird how back at the beginning of it, a lot of the women saw it as empowering. And then nowadays, they're like fucking shamed for that kind of shit.
Well, I mean, as it's the moral panic kind of bullshit. It's the lie that there's something wrong with being naked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see somebody get killed in like a brutal, gruesome fashion. But my God, if there's some titties in there, they better keep the kids away. But like, they're going to watch some dude get stabbed a bunch of times. That's cool. Or just some guy get his head exploded with a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. No big deal.
Yeah, that is kind of a really bizarre fucking...
But you
that's fine. But, oh my God, do not show a fucking,
Well, dick is the worst. Like on the scale, there's tits, pussy, and dick. Like you show tits, that's pretty bad. You show pussy, that's really bad. If there's some dick in there, oh damn, you fucked up.
Right.
You gotta be really careful with that.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. I was thinking about this. This is only semi-related, but I was thinking about the fact that growing up, girls seem to be like constantly told how special their pussy is.
A little bit,
and guys don't really ever get told there's something special about their cock.
I think that derives from the fact that like women get pregnant and men don't. So the consequences of casual sex can be a lot higher for a lady. Like suddenly you have, a baby to care for.
Yeah, although I think guys just naturally kind of feel their own cock special anyway. Maybe we don't really need to be told.
We're already convinced it's
it's like ingrained in us to fucking, love our own junk.
That wouldn't,
or at least find it precious, not necessarily love it, but like understand that it's important.
Yeah, exactly. So the Playboy Mansion, I don't know if you know about this, but it was actually sold a while ago, and the way it worked out was the guy who bought it, who is the owner of one of the co-owners of Hostess Brands.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that the deal was that Hugh Hefner got to live in like half of it until he died.
Oh, okay.
So this guy now owns the whole mansion, but he bought it from Hugh Hefner, and the exchange was that Hugh Hefner would stay there. Which, let's be honest, man, if you're buying the Playboy Mansion, you're not going to be the kind of guy who's like, oh, fuck Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, you be fucking
like,
want him to be
he's
around.
He's going to stay in the mansion with me? Yeah.
Yeah, I would almost I almost wonder if that's actually was a requirement when he bought it. Like, Hugh Hefner has to fucking live here till he dies.
Well, it was a case where Hugh
Hefner gets to
kind of partied out of a lot of his money, and he had the mansion and not a lot of other, like, he wasn't gonna starve or nothing, but he might have had to downgrade to like the suburbs.
Right,
in order to like live out on his income. So he sold the house in order to have enough money to keep partying for like the last couple of years. And then this guy right here is the owner, by the way. Like, the rest of these people, Snoop Dogg and some other guy. But oh man, I just think that's so funny that the guy who owns Hostess is now the Playboy Mansion owner.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah, and then Playboy's gone clothed anyway, so who fucking cares? That's it's too bad that you have to. At least he doesn't have to watch it for too much longer while they just kill the magazine.
Yeah, they're trying to turn it into like Maxim or fucking one of those kind of things.
Yeah, which is silly. It really is. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Although nowadays with the prevalence of free porn on the internet, I kind of get it. But no, they could have done the same thing and still, you know what I mean? They could have still had decent articles or whatever you want to call it. Do what they're trying to do now, and still had fucking naked chicks in it.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, like Playboy has always been extremely tasteful as far as nude magazines go.
Right.
There's no other magazine that was ever quite so just like, no, this is just a naked woman, and that's really all you need, man.
Yeah, just kind of celebrating the female form, dude.
Yeah, whereas like like the Hustler, which was sort of like the prodigal rival, I would say, like the only real like other magazine that was nearly as big is just like a gynecological exploration of the female form.
Right.
It's one where they're like, let me just put these fucking hooks in and spread my just crazy over the top stuff in that one.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing somewhere like pretty much anything that you can think of like sexually, there's like a magazine somewhere devoted just to that.
Oh yeah.
Whatever weird kinks you have, there's a fucking 30-year-old magazine that's already that's still covering that subject.
Well, like and then I wonder, like, because a lot of like for our age, a lot of people found random like porn or bought magazines from a friend who stole it from their dad or some shit.
Right.
I wonder how many people's fetishes were formed by like what was available. You know what I mean? Like
whatever they saw first, they locked in on whatever they saw first. Yeah. That could be.
Yeah, if Daddy had a foot magazine, that guy's got a foot fetish. If somebody had like a butt magazine, now they're into butts, tits, whatever.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Now, of course, asks lovely cons. Jesus. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man.
I kind of wonder, like, did I have a thing for redheads, or is it just the fact that, like the first girl I kissed and the first girl I fucked were both redheads? I can't really remember if I was into redheads. I think I was, but I can't remember for sure, dude.
Well, you are now.
Yeah, no, I definitely,
hot, man.
Yeah, they can be, oh my God.
Same with gingers. I don't understand why everybody talks shit about gingers, man. Gingers are pretty hot.
Yeah, even with the freckles and everything, man. I find them fucking hot, dude. I still like Mexican chicks better, and any Asian chick with good curves is fucking hot. That actually has tits and ass is fucking amazing. They'd probably still rank just ahead of them, but yeah, right just below them is redheads, and then any chick, like a white chick with black hair and blue eyes. And that might just be because it's incredibly rare.
Akinaro has a thing for redheads too, man. You better watch out. Pretty soon you're gonna only counts like Akinaro.
Jesus,
sorry. It was lame, but I had to go
there. That's fine, dude. I think I already established that I would not find Shuan Head attractive, or didn't find Shuan Head attractive, even though she's of age, because she looks.
I don't find Shuan Head attractive because she's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Fucking irritating.
Yeah, plus apparently she has to wear wigs. She's constantly pulling her hair out.
Oh, that's a little weird. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
but
I heard that.
She doesn't look like she could sit still and just hang out for any length of time.
Yeah, I can imagine it being really fucking annoying having somebody with that kind of giddy energy all the time.
Yeah, oh man, like can you imagine like you're at a movie or you're like watching a movie on the couch and she just every 5 seconds she just starts piping in with random shit. It's like, can we just like cuddle and watch the movie and not fucking talk all the time?
Yeah, I would probably insist that they be fucking stoned all the time if there's somebody like that. Yeah. Well, not me. I mean her. Like maybe that would fucking shut her up, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Because she'd just be stoned and just sit there and zone out instead of yapping all the time.
She thinks you're buying her like nice candies and stuff, but in reality you're just dosing her with
Here, try this.
Have some gummy bears, baby.
Here. There you go. Now shut the fuck up and let's enjoy this movie.
Oh man, I remember in grade school one of the girls that was in there was a redhead, and she had like freckles like all over her skin. Just like her skin was entirely freckles with just tiny little bits of skin around it. Yeah, she was like I don't know. I thought she was one of the prettiest girls in school when I was that young. That was so fascinating to me.
Yeah,
I didn't really have any like understanding of what the feelings were, but I kind of wanted to see all the freckles.
Right.
But I was so young that it just didn't like translate. I didn't understand like why that was what I wanted to see.
Yeah, I don't understand the thing against gingers, dude.
And then another redheaded girl in grade school slapped me. I forget why. I probably deserved it. I mean, I'm not going to argue that point. That's what I did.
Or she could have been like the chick that kept checking guys for boners, and she was just insane.
Nah, that was probably me.
Oh man. Akinaro says he just wears headphones all the time. So, oh yeah, just nodding like you're listening, dude. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Like that whole thing.
Of course, honey. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. You just got to like pay attention to the tone of voice. You don't have to really listen to the words.
Right. It just sounds like the fucking adults from Charlie Brown, dude. You can kind of make out what they're fucking.
Right. Oh, that's awful.
Oh man. Yeah, that shit always cracked me up as a kid. The way they had adults fucking talk all weird like that, dude.
Yeah.
But then the kids would respond. You could only tell what they were saying. You could tell what they were saying by what the kids said. Like, why don't you just have?
But when you are a little kid, though, it's so true because there's a lot of times when parents are talking, and it's not that you don't understand the words they're saying, like you can't make them out. It's just that you're not necessarily on that level, so it's over your head.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where, like, you know, your mom and dad are having a discussion because they're angry about something and they're using like code words, and you get the emotion of it. You understand the words. You just don't understand why everybody's hostile. You know, like
right. Yeah, or it's just the fact that you have a fucking shitty attention span too. All that probably adds up.
oh yeah, true.
Probably all contributes to the whole thing.
So accurate. So accurate, man. I tried to coin a new phrase with the Hugh Hefner thing. I don't know if it's going to spread because I don't have any followers. I call it necromedia. The act of trying to ride a freshly dead corpse to relevancy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like,
that's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good.
I don't know if that's going to spread, but you know, you guys, necromedia. Oh, look at the necromedia going. Everybody's trying to ride that freshly dead corpse of somebody who actually did shit with their life so that they can be relevant too.
Right. Bring themselves to stardom.
Oh, Hugh Hefner was a terrible man. He was anti-feminist. Oh, there was funny fucking what's his name? The guy that was pretending to be a feminist but like cheated on his wife for like 15 years. What's his name?
Josh Whedon.
He was talking shit about Hefner too, and it was just like everybody that commented in response was just like, yeah, but he didn't cheat on his wife for 15 years while pretending to be a feminist, you fucking loser.
Yeah, at least he was open about dating 7 chicks and not just being married and fucking a bunch of starlets.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck.
Yeah, that amazes me, man. You gotta be kind of a sociopath to fucking judge motherfuckers like that when you've done that shit.
Well, and Josh Whedon is so fucking gross too. Like, how many of the poor girls in his movies and shows had to fucking to get the part?
Right. Yeah.
Was there a casting couch? That always grosses me out when people do that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird, man.
When I get, you know, there's probably a certain amount of like aphrodisiac effect of like the power.
Right.
You know, like the guy's the director of this big show. He wrote all this stuff, and whatnot. But
yeah. Well, I mean, for women, they have different motivations too. Like, looks are not nearly. I mean, they're part of the package, but they're not nearly as high up on the list as it is for men.
Yeah, thank Christ for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Patrice O'Neal had a great line about it. It's like, all right, if a woman is going like down an alley and she sees some guy in a fucking, you know, like passed out or fucking laying in next to a trash can or something, you know, she's not gonna fucking do anything. She's gonna keep walking. Like, a guy could easily be like, "Hey, what's up? What's you doing there in the trash can?" Like, you know.
Fucking true. I've known dudes like that. I've known dudes who would be like, "Hey, baby, how you doing? You want me to walk you back to your home? You know, you got another alley you wanna go check out? Let's go check out this other alley."
Yeah, dude, that perfectly illustrates like how differently we think about shit, dude.
Yeah, guys who
like, we don't give a shit. We don't really give a shit if a woman's fucking rich or powerful. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's huge for women, dude.
Oh, there's dudes that would run back and get a bottle of water just to rinse her face off a little from the vomit. Try to make out with her, you know?
Yeah,
like, hold
exactly.
on, baby, let me clean you up a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of makes sense because, yeah, actually what my doctor has always kind of pointed out to me is what bothers us. Like at our core, like for women, it's not doing stupid shit, like, you know, the "how could you be so stupid" kind of thing. Like, that seems to bother almost all women. That bothers them more than anything. And for guys, it's essentially being inadequate, like not being able to provide or support a family, like that kind of thing.
Self-doubt kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I thought you were talking about like what they didn't want to see in like another person. Like, women don't want to date guys who do stupid shit. I'm like, that doesn't seem right at all.
Oh yeah, no, that's just when they make poor decisions and that kind of shit. Like that frustrates them to no end. And for, you know, we do stupid shit all the time, so it doesn't really bother us. You know, but if we're not able to support, you know, like if you're fucking coming up short on the rent and that kind of shit, like that really bugs a guy. For the most part,
having to ask for help is just genuinely not something that anybody likes to do.
Yeah, not being able to do it yourself, yeah, or make it on your own, whatever.
Yeah, whenever we have to have work done on the house or like on a car that's not done by me, I feel like I'm failing.
You just follow them around like, I could do it myself, but I'm busy and
No, I don't. I'm too old for that to pretend that
right.
I can. Like we had to get my door replaced, and like I don't know how to hang a door. Like I'm sure I could put a door up, but I'm sure it would also not fit right. You know what I mean? Like it's deceptively complicated. It seems really simple.
Yeah.
Like the dude that brought the door in had to shave like a bunch of the top of the door and a bunch of the bottom of the door because it's kind of at an angle because the house is settled and shit.
Right.
And then he had to shave a little off the side so that it wasn't too wide for the door. You know, like there was a lot of shit that went involved that was putting the door up that really, I would have just put 2 hinges on the fucker and slapped it in. I would not have known.
Yeah, you just assume like this is going to work. It's the right size door, so obviously it's definitely going to fit. Yeah.
Well, it matches the other door. I don't know why it can't fit in. It's only off by like a 16th of an inch. Well, apparently that's enough. So.
Yeah. Yep. Although I work construction, I can do a lot of that shit. I didn't work it very long, but almost all my friends did, so that kind of helped.
Well, yeah, and it's like I used to work on cars, so when it comes to like fixing cars, if it's not something that requires a lift, I can do it for the most part. I've even like rebuilt engines and like transmissions. It's like I know how to do a lot of stuff with cars. It's just some of that shit you don't want to do in your front, in your front yard. It's just not
right. Yeah, I still wouldn't trust myself to do anything remotely complicated nowadays. Or with cars, I think the most difficult thing I've ever done with that is like replace a fuel filter, which is really not complicated.
Yeah, replacing all the filters on the car, air filter, fuel filter, oil filter, those are fairly easy to do. Changing oil and fluids is always something you can usually do on your own fairly easily.
Right.
Sometimes it can be a pain in the butt to get rid of the old stuff.
Yeah. Although it amazes me how many people can't change a fucking tire, dude. That I find amazing, dude.
I used to so one of these girls I kind of sort of wanted to date, one of the twins that Matt knows. She was telling me like she didn't know how to change a tire, and I'm like, I will happily teach you how to change a tire. It's really easy, and I feel like I would hate for you to be stuck on the side of the road and just not know. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. Somebody will come by and do it for me.
Yeah, that's the conceit of women, dude. Like, no, I'm a chick. I have tits. I have pussy. I will stand by my car, and a guy will stop and change my tire.
And then she's like, and I'll just hope I don't get murdered. I'll put it up with it. I'm like, all right, it's all you.
Well, I guess technically the odds are, but
I was going to say my sister used to be a Girl Scout. My mom used to be like a Girl Scout troop leader, so she actually had me teach all the girls how to change tires.
That's cool.
That was one of the things I ran. I just did a class for a day and taught them how to change tires. But all right, that's how you do it.
Yeah, it's not complicated. It's really not. It's just a matter of knowing it.
Akinaro paints cars.
What happened?
Akinaro paints cars. His whole family used to be mechanics, but he kind of went to painting them instead of fixing them.
Oh, okay.
Small world, man.
Cool. Wow. Take apart a car in a day. Nice.
Yeah.
You should work at a chop shop, dude. Quit wasting your talent.
I could probably take a car apart in a day. I don't know that I could ever put it back together again.
Right.
I'm not that level.
Yeah.
I can change out like axles, and I can do like most of the basic repairs and stuff, and like replace wires and that kind of stuff. But like I couldn't track down like a short in a system.
Right.
Like I probably would if you have like an intermittent short or something. I'll never track that down. That's not one of the things I know how to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed at the guys that can do that shit, man, and do it like quickly and efficiently, man. Just figure out what's wrong with it. Because I'm pretty good at troubleshooting stuff, but man, a car. And maybe it's not as complicated as I'm making it, but it does seem pretty complicated nowadays.
So with an old car, you used to have to track down the wiring. Now you just plug in and the computer tells you, because there just isn't stuff you can replace, man.
Yeah, you just plug in a little diagnostic thing or whatever.
You plug in the little diagnostic thing, and 99% of the time, it tells you what's wrong. You replace that part, and then you replace the computer. There's really nothing There's very little actual repair work.
Yeah.
Like in my automotive classes, I learned how to rebuild brakes, like the calipers and the drum brakes. How to rebuild and clean out all the things and put them back together so that you didn't have to buy new calipers or pistons or any of that kind of stuff. And that's not something you ever do in a shop. Like, you never rebuild those. You always just replace them. So it was good to learn, but there's no point. You're never going to do it in the shop.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. What else? Oh, we didn't talk about the garbage thing, right?
Garbage thing. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That is kind of a like nice little thing that's going on.
Yeah, tell me all about it. You alluded to it before we went on, but
so you can follow him at the Ocean Cleanup on Twitter. I can't play the audio, but essentially, what's going on is they're taking huge nets that filter out, like, let everything but the plastic through, essentially.
Right.
And they're using the ocean currents and some pretty powerful engines to take giant nets to get the plastic out.
Just kind of sweep across and get it out of there. Nice, dude.
And it essentially is some sort of stuff that they're doing is drawing it towards the plastic, like with radar and stuff.
Yeah. So I assume it's something that's not going to catch like fucking marine animals in its net and kill it.
I guarantee it's going to catch and kill some marine animals, or maybe it's going slow enough that it won't. But there's like a dolphin that swims into the fucking net and won't swim out. Doesn't get that it can't go through and just keeps trying to swim out and gets drowned. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, but still, it's the loss of life there as opposed to a giant fucking island of trash is probably.
Well, birds especially birds, will go and eat like the really small piece of plastic. They think they're food, and just eat a whole bunch of it. And because they're full of plastic.
Right. But it's just like the California condors were dying off because they would eat shit that got shot with like shotgun shells. Yeah. And the fucking lead would kill them, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of damage here to save a lot more stuff later is kind of what you got to do.
Right.
Definitely worth taking a look at. It might be cool. It might work out great. It might fail utterly. Who knows?
At least they're trying.
2018.
Yeah, at least they're fucking trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, although I heard there was some kind of bacteria that actually eats plastic. I heard that somewhere.
Talking about that, but I don't know if that was like as feasible to grow all the bacteria you would need.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it might have been just too expensive, and this was cheaper.
Yeah. Or just not there yet. Yeah. Well, right. Because. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm sure it's super expensive to grow bacteria for any kind of mass production.
Yeah. Especially, I assume that's got to be a pretty rare strain. Like, there's not a whole lot of bacteria that are capable of just eating plastic.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's not like yeast, where like any room you're in probably has a bunch of yeast in the air.
Right.
I'm sure that doesn't sound as appetizing or as a good thing to most people, but like that's why you can you can pickle things or ferment things, and you don't have to add specifically anything to it because there's yeast particles in the air all
floating around.
Yeah. Common.
Akinaro, it'll kill everyone. It's a hidden plan to remove people from Earth.
I don't know. Sure is.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, it's gonna kill. It's gonna get people.
Everybody gotta die. Everybody gotta die sometime. I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
The elites have decided that 90% of us have to go.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. I'm like, what would they do with 10% of the people? They fucking their quality of life would drop so low that they would never do it.
Yeah.
Somebody, I can't imagine.
It's insane, dude. They might just want to do it because they can. There might be just. I kind of wonder about people like Soros or fucking evil people. The people that seem to be kind of evil Like, if they watch too many Bond movies and they want to be a supervillain? Like,
I think Soros wants to take the world with him.
You think he wants to see it burn and he wants to be responsible before he dies?
He just doesn't want to see the world outlive it.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, if he's not going to be able to live forever, fuck the world, man. They should all die too because he's so great.
Yeah, the world shouldn't have to go on without him. They shouldn't have to suffer without him in the world. So he'll just have a fucking end.
Exactly. Well, I think it's his way of achieving sort of an immortality of like, how many people can I take with me when I go? Because there's a lot of people like that out there. Just most of them don't have the money or the power to do it.
Right. Yeah. Although anybody that gets super rich has almost certainly got at least a little bit of that in them, dude.
Well, most of the time they just want to make like a fucking statue or build some monument or start some charity or something, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like Styx says about Trump, like he's a narcissist, but he's a constructive narcissist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he wants to build shit up and be responsible for that. He doesn't want to tear shit down. He doesn't want to fuck shit up.
He wants genuine love and adoration. He doesn't want fear.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely much different result. Yeah, I think, Hillary absolutely had that. I want people to fear me. I want people to suffer almost because of me.
Akinaro in the chat, I don't like people, and I would be happy to see all people die in pain, watching One Direction and being stuck off by the ugliest people on earth.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's not at all disturbing. I don't think we'll ever.
So you hate? Do you? Akinaro, do you hate watch us then? I think him and Stench ever hate watch us, dude.
That'd actually be pretty funny if our only audience was really just people that hated us.
God, these fucking guys suck. Fucking bullshit.
They keep doing it too.
They're doing it. No one's watching, and they still keep doing it. Fuck, I hate these guys.
Well, I can't tell if they're Poe or not. Sometimes they're I like them. I can't tell.
Yeah, no, that's the thing I like about like Copper Cab. You're familiar with Copper Cab, right?
I think I've heard of him before.
The ginger, he's the ginger. He's been on like Tosh.0 and fucking like him and his grandma, his Meemaw.
No, okay, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure I've seen it, but like I'm not remembering it.
Yeah, he's gotten into it with a few different people, but dude, he's like, I'm like 99.9% certain he's a Poe. Like he kind of pretends to be like a feminist, all that kind of shit. But there's that 0.1%, like he might actually be serious. I fucking seriously doubt it. But like he does a fucking great job of not making it 100% obvious. Like you're almost certain, but not 100% certain. You know what I mean? Yeah. Exactly. He's really good at it, dude. It's really fucking. He is by far my favorite Poe, if he's definitely a Poe. Yeah. Well, the thing is, his biggest idol or whatever you want to call it is Andy Kaufman. So like he almost has to be. You know what I mean? Andy Kaufman was all about that shit. So yeah.
Well, that's probably like who. What's his name? Zach Galifianakis probably got a lot of his inspiration from.
Yeah.
Was Andy Kaufman plays that character like a similar? Well, he plays a similar character, Andy Kaufman, where it's that like really annoying, just totally oblivious, like not really aware of himself kind of guy.
Right.
And Zach takes it to a much more extreme level, but it's definitely like that's where it originated for sure.
Yeah, Zach is. I don't know how you feel about him, but I find him fucking hilarious, dude. God, man, have you ever watched his stand up and shit? It's fucking amazing, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, where like I like the one where he got the fucking whole choir at the end.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then he stripped down to like a weird like onesie outfit and shit.
And he kept flipping the pages or whatever. Yeah, is that the one? Like it said something like I look like a fat Jesus or like fucking shit like that. Yes. What the fuck? What was the song he was having him sing? I can't remember what the song was.
Oh,
fuck.
I know what the song is. Like Close Your Eyes, I Can Watch You While You're Sleeping. Eternal Love by the Bangles.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah. Just him fucking it's fucking hilarious, dude.
I learned most of that song. I used to be able to sing that song all together from beginning to end because it was creepy. Like I just thought it'd be funny. Like it's because it's cool when a girl sings it, but it's creepy when a guy sings it.
Oh, I gotcha.
Close your eyes. I'll watch you while you're sleeping. Like it starts to get real weird. The further you go, you're like it just sounds like really obsessive and creepy from a dude. But if a chick sings it, it sounds all sweet.
Right. If a dude sings it, it's almost like stalking.
Pretty much.
Or fucking a restraining order might be a good option.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah. I found out on Twitter, what was the Traname? I don't know if you know who that is, but she's got a small channel.
Oh, yeah.
She's living in her van. But apparently, like, there's a couple people that are kind of obsessed with her who are, like, attacking anybody they see as wanting to try to get in her pants and telling her who she should and shouldn't like. And it's so creepy and obsessive.
That is, yeah. Like, I joke about that, and I realize I really shouldn't. I think it's part of my twisted sense of humor. I think it's funny to joke about stalking somebody. Like, I don't know. I've done it to fucking any chick I'm a fan of. But like, I don't know. I assume they know I'm not because I certainly did it to Base Mama, and obviously she didn't take it seriously. But I guess the fact that I'll say something like, "Well, hey, where do you live at?" Because I've been meaning to take up stalking as a hobby. Like, I assume that's pretty clear that that's a joke, even when you're typing it out, like saying it's a hobby. But still, I think that shit's fucking.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't really. Or this one is a little creepy. You know who Day is Dead is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay. It was one of the. She was on a live stream, probably with very nearly viral or whatever. I
hate that.
I don't know. I like Lacey, dude. I like Lacey a lot.
I like the other guy. I don't fucking like. I cannot stand Roy.
Yeah, he can be funny, but yeah, I definitely fucking think Lacey's awesome. But yeah, she was in there, and I think I said something along the lines of, I was like, what the hell did I say? I'm like, oh, hey, all right, guys, any of the people that I used to bitch at for saying, how cute a girl was, like, I get it now. But then the next line was, she's adorable. I want to put her in a huge glass jar and keep her on my desk. And then she saw it in the chat, and she's like, thanks. And I was like, hey, I was going for equal parts flattering and creepy. I'm pretty sure I nailed it. She's like, yeah, you did.
It's definitely creepy.
Like, it starts out as a compliment, and then I say the fucking, weirdest shit ever.
Oh, I used to joke with my brother about Maria Bamford. I'm like, man, she's so adorable. I want to keep her in my closet, like a pet. I'll feed her. I'll take care of her. I'll take her for walks. It's all good.
Right. Dude, Maria Bamford is fucking amazing, dude. Yeah. She's such a fucking lunatic, dude. But
I bet she's funny.
Joke. Huh?
I bet she'd get that joke.
Right.
Like, she wouldn't be offended. She'd be like, "Oh, you're just joking."
Right. Yeah. She seemed like a fucking really, really fun to hang out with, dude.
But she seems like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure she'd be fun to be hanging out with, but I'd also feel like a little scared.
Yeah, she is definitely gonna be fucking.
Who am I hanging out with? Is it Maria Bamford or is it one of her personalities?
Right. Yeah, although I don't think she'd be violent or anything, but yeah, she's definitely insane, dude.
I'm just wondering, like, is she gonna go start a fight somewhere?
All right. Yeah, you know what's weird about her is the way she views like stand up and being on stage. Like, for me, I would be fucking terrified of that shit. Like, fucking everybody's right there. Anybody can kind of come at you. She actually feels safer up there because of, like, the social contract or whatever you want to call it. She actually feels safer up on stage than, like, out in the real world. Because
you're sort of like, you don't get to really judge me that much for anything I do up here, because if it's something you don't like, it's just not for you.
Yeah, that, and I think she just feels like, no, there's no way anybody's going to come up here, so, they know the rules, It's probably, I'm sure it's all of that, dude, because, again, she's pretty nuts.
See ya, Akino. It's nice having you back, man.
All right, yeah, I was getting worried about you, buddy. I'm glad you came back.
Yep.
Have fun with whatever you're doing that I don't want to know
I
about.
assume one of the children escaped his basement.
You gotta go round them up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what it is. Not a pet or anything like that.
No. Yeah. We'll assume they're articulated child sex dolls, just for legal sake.
Yeah, for the sake of legal purposes. Oh man. Oh, I got a fun disease that I found that I think was fun. Coro is a mental illness that has the somebody with the overpowering belief that one's genitalia are retracting and will disappear.
Wow.
Despite the lack of any true long-standing changes to the genitals. It's
That's
also
pretty
known as
crazy.
shrinking penis.
Yeah, that's not as catchy as just Coro.
And genital retraction syndrome.
That is insane. Is this something that's like people that already have a micro penis, or no?
I have no idea. I didn't
probably
that
doesn't.
far.
Yeah,
I
probably
just
doesn't
read it
tell
and was
you.
like, holy shit, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. Although that'd be a good one to tell a chick. You should have seen me when I was younger. It was fucking way bigger. My penis it's shrinking.
Shrinking. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Damn.
It says causes psychosexual conflicts, personality factors, and cultural beliefs are considered as being significant to whether you get Coro or not.
Is that not the case for most mental illness, or are those not the causes of a lot of?
Oh, there's also a lot of guilt over masturbation and impotence that this involved too.
I never understood that, man. I guess I'm glad my parents were kind of hippie-ish, because I never, I didn't realize, like, probably until I was in like my mid-30s, or early to mid-30s, that people actually feel ashamed after they masturbate.
Never got that shit. Never understood that.
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of people are like ashamed of their bodies and that kind of shit. And well, I'm not proud of mine at the moment, but I'm not ashamed of it. But like, I think it's because like my parents would never, like they wouldn't walk around naked, but like if I accidentally walked in on them, they never freaked out and covered up real quick. They like calmly, cover themselves up, but they didn't freak out about it. And I think that's probably, yeah, like this is nothing to be ashamed about.
I walked in with my parents that I know of. I don't think I ever have.
Yeah, it only happened a couple times.
I think when I was a little kid, they would be naked around me every once in a while, but like it was never anything like, never caught them having sex or nothing.
Right. Yeah. So it could just be their general attitudes. Probably had nothing to do with the fact that they didn't freak out.
No, I'm sure they did too, though. Like, I think that would definitely put like a fucking skew your view of sex if like every time you saw your parents.
Yeah, they freaked out and
covered out. Like, oh my god, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened.
Yeah. My ex would do that, dude. Like, dude, stop. Like, it only happened a couple times too, but still, I'm like, dude, just calmly cover up. Don't freak out.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, for me at least, is that I never was indoctrinated with any kind of religion. So when we were Catholics, so I mean we went to church all the time. Until we moved out here, and I don't even know if back then. I think it was the fact that we lived in a small town in New York, and if you didn't go to church, you know what I mean, like you'd almost be a weirdo. Yeah, it's different in California. Parents, it really is different in California as far as that goes. Nobody really cares if you go to church.
Yeah, and by now it might be that way most places. Oh no, and that's not true. I'm thinking of the fucking like the South and the Midwest.
Oh yeah, if you're in Alabama, you best be going to church on Sunday.
Right. But yeah, it's. Although my mom did apologize to me for taking us to church at one point. She's like, "I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we really shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have made you go to Catholic church."
Well, yeah, Catholic is one of the more guilt-ridden forms of Christianity.
Dude, in recovery, every single person that I've met that had a really hard time and really struggled with forgiving themselves, not feeling guilty, Catholic and Mormon. Every single one of them.
Catholic or Mormon too,
yeah. I'm sure there's exceptions to that, but I haven't found one yet.
You know, it makes sense to me, man. Those both really do instill a lot of guilt in the people.
Yeah.
I was lucky that my parents just were like, "Look, if you want to go to church, we'll take you, but it's up to you.
Right.
We're not gonna take you. We don't go. You don't have to.
Yeah.
If you're curious and you want to learn about it, that's, you know, we'll definitely make sure that you get a Bible or whatever kind of book, and you can go and check it out if you want. We'll go with you, even if we don't want to go. We'll still take you. That kind of thing."
Yeah. I need to tell my son that because I haven't really broached it a whole lot with him.
Yeah. Well, most kids I find just like, if you don't indoctrinate them super young with religion, they just don't fucking care.
You know? Yeah. He doesn't really talk about it much or ever. Although his nana, like his grandmother and his mother's side, or actually great grandmother, like she's super like Catholic religious, so that had to have some impact. But then I'm also his dad, so I think there's some kind of decent balance between the two.
Yeah. Well, and religion doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. So, I mean, depending on what church you go to, some of them they're just places where people go to hang out.
Right.
Because that's what you do in that part of the country or that part of the world.
Yeah. And it's really on your mindset too, because I mean, like I said, a lot of addicts, that have the trouble with guilt are Catholic and Mormon, but there's also fucking addicts and plenty of other people in the world that get great, like, positive shit out of Catholicism, Mormonism, and that kind of shit. So yeah, I think it's more of a temperament thing. Like, not everybody that's Catholic assumes that they're going to hell because God's a scorekeeper and, they've already qualified for hell by the time they're 10 years old.
That's why every once in a while when I jack off staring up and like as intently as I can, straight up, just in case I'm not watching. I want to make it.
You want to make a little eye contact?
I want to make it weird for him. Yeah, I want to make it
right. All right, you're gonna watch me, fucker. I'm gonna watch you right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I never thought of God or any of that shit when I was masturbating. I was too busy.
I don't either. I'm just fucking with you. But
yeah, but no, people do though. Like, I know you were fucking around, but people actually apparently do. Or like right after they finish, they think of God and they're like embarrassed and ashamed. And man. I just never understood that, dude.
I would be embarrassed if somebody walked in on me in the middle. That would just be weird and awkward.
Yeah.
Like, that would I'm having like a moment with myself. Could you just leave now? Because you're killing the mood.
Like, now I'm not going to be able to finish. You fucking spoiled the mood, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I got to start this whole thing all over again.
But yeah, like I had a friend of mine who was raised Mormon, and he was meth addict and a sex. Well, most guys that are meth addicts are fucking sex addicts too.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe not, but I know a lot of them are.
Maybe chicks put out a lot more, so they just get used to it.
Yeah. But he would fucking constantly watch porn and masturbate, but he would always feel guilty about it. And I was like, why? Like, that was the first person that I ever heard that from, and I'm like, really? I'm like, why do you feel guilty about it? Oh, I feel guilty about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. You were raised Mormon.
I think I saw stuff on like TV where they would talk about people that felt guilty about it. Or like in classes, because I know sex ed started for me when I was in like 4th grade or something.
Really?
Comprehensive, yeah.
God damn, dude.
4th or 5th grade is when it started.
Jesus Christ, dude! We didn't hear about that shit until fucking high school, 9th grade, dude.
Oh yeah, we were way ahead of the curve. It's California.
Yeah, and even then, all it was fucking, a section during health class. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even like a specific sex ed class or anything like that. Yeah. Other than the one video they show us to show us how to check for testicular cancer. That was a fun one.
Oh.
How do you show that to? That was in junior high, right? They show a guy coming out of the shower, like fucking, playing with his balls because he's checking for a fucking lump. And like, how do you show that to fucking 7th and 8th graders and then tell them not to fucking giggle, dude?
Yeah, dude's playing with
fucking hilarious, dude. Yeah, like it's involuntary. You see a fucking that guy coming out, and you guys are being all fucking serious, which makes it even funnier. You know,
in grade school we would get like the banana on the condom thing. And people would come in and just talk to us about stuff. And then in junior high, we got people who got pregnant early come in and talk to us about like what it was like dealing with having a kid in like junior high and shit.
All right. Yeah, that's not that bad.
But then they would teach us about safe sex. So like, look, we can't stop you. So if you're gonna do it, here's how everything works.
Yeah.
Here's what condoms are. Here's how you put a condom on. Use the banana or like a cucumber and shit.
Yeah, that's not bad, I guess. Junior high probably is a good time because that is not. It's not when everybody starts having sex, but kids definitely start having sex at that, in junior high.
But we got mostly like the clinical part. Like, here's how a penis works. Here's how a vagina works. Here's you put one in the other, you get. That's how you get a baby. Like that kind of thing. In grade school, it wasn't as comprehensive. But in high school, we got a fucking horror show.
Really?
So, we had this whole big. Like we all went to like the theater and they pulled down this giant screen and we got like movie theater sized screen of fucking STD pictures.
Oh my God, that's fucked up.
Like, so that if you were ever fucking somebody and you were looking, you'd know what a herpes sore looked like, or like a fucking genital wart, or you'd know what it looks like if they had syphilis. So all these fucked up vaginas and dicks.
God,
and then and then the two guys did sort of like, it was a guy and a girl doing the sex ed class. And then they did this sort of like stage show where like he blew a condom up with his head and like it popped on, those guys say they can't fit in a condom. And then he pulls it over his head and then he blows it up until it pops. And
wow.
That kind of thing.
That's fucking nuts. Oh, man.
I remember the one thing I remember was, it was like in grade school and one kid was like, does it hurt? And the guy says, look, man, if it was like slipping your one-eyed zipper snake into a fucking box of bobby pins, do you think people would still do it? You wouldn't be here if it hurt.
No, what's he saying? Like, does sex hurt? Is that what he was asking?
Yeah, the kid was asking if it hurt when you had sex.
Oh, my God.
In grade school. Though.
Right, yeah. Like, it's exactly the opposite of that. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe for the chicks sometimes, but for guys, it's fucking great. That's what I would have told them.
First time's not that great for the ladies. And like, I think sex ed should cover a little bit more with chicks on like how to actually orgasm. Hey,
yeah.
A lot of this is in your head. You got to really be comfortable with it. You got to be, you got to be conveying what you really are enjoying and aren't enjoying to your partner.
Yeah.
Being honest about that shit. Because like, if you really need some dude to jam a fucking thumb up your asshole for you to come, you better say so, because that might not happen.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is, because I knew a guy who was dating a chick that had literally never orgasmed, in which I was like, why do they still fuck then? Well, I guess it's still somewhat pleasurable even without an orgasm.
It still feels good, and there's a lot of emotional connection.
Right. Yeah, it's the oxytocin or whatever releasing. But yeah, I was like, that's like her fault, right? I'm like, it's in her head. Like she's uptight about sex. He's like, yeah, she is. And I'm like, dude, when I fucking hear a story about a girl that fucking can think herself to orgasm without touching herself at all, yeah, it's in her fucking head, dude. Because, I heard about this chick. The first time she tried it, it took her like 45 minutes, but she actually thought herself to an orgasm, dude, without touching herself at all.
There is one circumstance where like some women can't come, and it really isn't entirely their fault. Clitorises come in different sizes, and some women have just like micro clitorises, sort of like a micro penis, but it's a clit.
All right.
And in that case, the parts that are sensitive, they're just not very big or defined.
Yeah. Although I would think still, again, if somebody can think themselves to orgasm, wouldn't that?
I'm not saying 100%. I'm just saying like there's some other shit going on that they need to help with.
Like there might be something
in the bed with you.
Yeah, something anatomical that's preventing them from actually making it easy to get off. Yeah.
You might need to bring in like one of those big fucking diesel powered vibrating wands and put shit into the room with you.
Yeah, damn.
That's when you go doggy style and hit with the wand at the same time. That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Fill that fucker up. Find that fucking spot somehow.
Exactly. Just go all the way.
Right.
I just
Get a fist in there.
I think people are too weird about telling what they're into. Like, honestly, like,
yeah,
because most people are into just some vanilla shit. Like, there's you see a lot of people on the internet who are like into like whips and chains, but that's why they're so open with talking about it. It's because they're already into a bunch of kink.
right.
The majority of people are just into like maybe they want a little light spanking or like
Yeah, a little hair pulling or that kind of shit.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Most people are pretty, bite their nipple a little bit harder.
Yeah, or the hair pulling seems to be really common, dude.
I would imagine
not many women that are not into the hair pull that are getting their hair pulled.
Like you're taking control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with like doggy style. Holy shit, they fucking love that, man. You fucking grab their hair and start pulling. Yeah.
Man, we got into a bad place already.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. I'm just saying it's funny like how quickly this one devolved into just like sort of talk about sex. It's cool.
Yeah, well, you and I are both stream of consciousness kind of guys, so yeah, it's gonna happen. All right. Wherever this leads me, and we'll go with that. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Who fucking cares, man? Oh God. I'm just looking through my little articles here real quick. Some funny shit.
Who's Sensoka? Am I saying that right? Sensoka?
I don't know. Sensoka's probably been here before, maybe. The name sounds familiar, and it's great that Sensoka's here.
Yes, welcome. Jump like a chimp having a seizure. Nice. Oh, man.
I thought this was kind of some good news. Austrian authorities have decided to ban burqas in a sense.
Austrian. Oh, I thought it said Australia at first.
No, not Australian. Austrian.
Right on, dude.
Austria and Poland, I want to say, are like the two countries that just have not allowed migrants.
Yeah, Poland is definitely that way, man. Yeah,
well, I think Austria hasn't really allowed any either. I might be thinking it's wrong. It might be like Denmark or something. But like the two places where they haven't allowed any of the migrants, so-called refugees, but really,
right. Yeah,
and they haven't had any terrorism from it. So it's like,
oddly enough,
that is. But this is I think a really good thing because there are like terrorists will dress up like women with a burqa so that they can avoid being detected.
Yeah. No, it's good to see that kind of shit, man. That some countries at least are have some common sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, you know what I saw the other day? Did you see how Saudi Arabia is finally letting women drive? Or they will in 10 months or whatever?
Oh, yeah. And I love how people are like, Saudi Arabia has done more for women this year than any other country. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that was like, holy shit, are you serious? Yeah, I could not believe that. They're like, oh, wow, women have...
So up until now, women weren't allowed to drive. And you think this is like just a normal, everyday thing that they're allowing people to do is a huge step?
Right.
Out of your fucking mind. And it's super restricted. They can only drive between the hours of like on Sunday through Wednesday or Sunday through Thursday. They can only drive between the hours of like 8 a.m. to like 7 p.m. or something like that, or 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. or something. And then they can't drive on Friday and Saturday they can only drive between noon and like 7. They can only drive in the city. They have to wear a specific uniform while they're driving. They have to obtain the license for a specific group of people that they're probably not going to get a license from anyway. If they want to leave the city, they have to have a male relative with them.
They have to have a chaperone or whatever, and a guardian.
Any male, like even a 3-year-old boy is like a chaperone, and he's in charge when they're out.
Yeah, so fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, and they count that as progress. They're like, well, okay, so the fact that we've pretty much already gotten it right and probably have gone too far, almost with the fucking, female empowerment, it makes something like this look like they're actually better than us somehow. Oh yeah, look what they're doing.
It's just ideological horse shit. It's just virtue signaling ideological bullshit.
Yeah.
It's people with that.
But the nerve, man, the fucking nerve, dude, to fucking say some stupid ass shit like that, dude. Like, wow,
don't get me wrong. It's good that they're doing that. It's
absolutely
a giant step forward, though. That's some nonsense.
Yeah. Well, no, just the fact that you're going to try to fucking say the U.S. sucks because they're not doing anything for women after fucking Saudi Arabia is barely letting them drive occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, oh, we suck here. We're not doing anything for women. Like, dude, done a fucking huge amount, dude. You know. In fact, like you said, I think the pendulum's actually swung too far, and when women are close to a protected class almost.
Yeah.
You know, you look at all the stats on like
they are
sentences
according
and
to
shit.
like the Constitution. Like women and minorities are protected class according to the Constitution, and a lot of our hate crimes laws.
Yeah,
which is why I'm not a fan of hate crime laws. Because like, look, man, if you got murdered, I don't think you're more murdered because you happened to be a black dude and it was a white dude what killed you.
Yeah, or if he killed you for that specific reason, you know what I mean? Yeah, if he killed you, he's like, I hate niggers and fucking kills you. Like, I don't see what the difference is between.
You're still dead.
Yeah. Adding on shit because something was hateful. Like, yeah, the crime, just punish people for the crime.
I'd like to find the murder that wasn't hateful.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. The magnanimous murders going on out there.
Yeah, well, the only one I can think of is the people who are basically angels of mercy, who think they're like setting people free, essentially,
right?
Because they're so delusional. But I'm going to say the majority of people who are killing people are probably doing it out of hate.
Yeah.
I don't really think there needs to be special rules about like even if it's just like assault or harassment. I don't think it should be different.
Yeah, like you're really hateful when you murder that person, so you're going to get a life sentence plus 20 years. Take that, fucker.
Sensoka makes a great point about the driving thing. It's like congratulating the dog for not shitting on the floor. Like, great job. You didn't fuck something up today.
Nice.
Good job, man.
Yeah. Right. Hey, congratulations. You did some shit that you should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, now how about you let women go out unescorted and fucking go where they want, whenever they want? Like, how about that now?
Well, yeah. Well, they'll get raped.
How about you stop?
Which they actually would, but yeah. It's
advertising jobs to Africans, getting them there, and then taking away their passport and forcing them to do work for like a tenth of what you offered in the first place, like slaves.
Yeah, Qatar or Qatar. I keep hearing it's pronounced Qatar, and for the vast majority of my life, it was Qatar. But then I heard people pronounce it Qatar, and I think I do it just because of the show, the Welcome Back Qatar.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Qatar, whatever.
Notorious for that, yeah.
Yeah. Like for the World Cup, dude, they did that. Apparently, we're doing that shit.
And nobody says shit. It's like, all right. My favorite is the people who talk about slavery all the time, and they're just so angry, yet don't know that there is still slavery in Africa, like especially in the Congo area. And
or even in the Arab world,
refuse to believe it or have any interest in like putting a stop to it.
Mm-hmm.
The Arab world is like quasi-slavery. It essentially is, but like in the Congo, it's literally they own like they literally own pygmy tribes.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, the Congolese own pygmy tribes and force them to farm for them.
Yeah.
And
they just fucking let that shit go on, dude.
Yeah, and they'll feed them like a banana a day or something, like just enough to not die. That's all they feed them. They're not allowed to get medicine. They're not allowed to save up anything.
Doesn't it seem like it would be in your interest to feed them kind of well? Like they would work better, right? I mean,
but no, then they might, fucking run away or fight back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they can just hobble them, do good old fashioned hobbling. Like in Missouri.
I'm sure they do in some cases anyway.
Right.
I'm sure there's all that kind of weird shit going on.
I kind of wonder, like, if I lived in that environment, would I ever impregnate a woman, dude? Like, would I bring a child into that fucking bullshit?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, it seems, if you were one of the slaves.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You don't have much of a choice. A lot of times it's like you're either gonna fucking knock up this chick because like when we had slaves here, they would force breed them. I'm sure.
Yeah, they would have the big
in the Congo,
the big huge one, like knock up all the women.
Yeah,
for breeding.
Yeah, I would be amazed if they don't do the similar in the Congo. I would be shocked.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. But yeah, although I think about just even people that aren't slaves that just live in shitty conditions. Like, why are you having kids if you're fucking barely existing? Like in Ethiopia, or
feel good, man.
I guess, but you're bringing the kids into, you're fucking bringing kids into fucking misery, though. Like, you know, life is fucked up.
Well, and bringing another the welfare moms.
Huh?
Like, I had a friend of mine, his aunt was a welfare mom, and she literally had 15 kids just to get more welfare.
Wow. I actually think that's what my ex was doing. I think that's why my ex had another couple kids, dude. So she can get another 18 years or whatever fucking welfare.
Yeah.
Plus just being irresponsible. But,
well, that's one of those things. Like, I have no problem with welfare. I just think it should end.
Yeah.
Like, it should last for a certain period of time before it's over.
Or a certain amount of kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you get up to like 5 kids, 6 kids. Like, okay, you're not getting any greater benefit at this point. No matter how many more kids you have, you're cut off at 5 kids or whatever.
I think you should never get it for more than 6 months for every 5 years you worked. So if you work for like 10 years and shit happens and, you know, whatever the case is, just everything falls apart, you have a year of fucking welfare that you can fall back on.
Right.
You know, or like unemployment or disability or whatever, you know, like depending on the situation.
Yeah, but for you to... Yeah, but yeah, because the way it is now, you can be 16, get pregnant, and you're, you know, going to get all kinds of help, dude, without ever having contributed.
Well, in the UK, that's the career path that some women choose. Like, they literally get pregnant on purpose just so that they can go on the dole.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah,
but that's again, that's kind of part of the state being, you know, replacing the traditional parental roles too, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or the male role, really. You know, the provider role.
Well, part of it is that, but I think the part of it that really is the problem is that they don't cut it off.
Yeah, there's no incentive to go start working or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you can get housing, you can get food, you can get money.
Yeah,
just given to you, and you don't have to work for it.
If you knew there was a minimum or a maximum amount of time you could be on it, you would be willing to, like, you would have to go get a job.
Yeah, and it's actually different here. Like, it gets cut off. It doesn't get cut off really, but you have to apply. Like, you have to put in 40 hours. So you need to apply 40 places. They will give you credit for like an hour for every place you apply to work, but you need to apply to at least 40 places a week for work if you're getting any kind of assistance here. Or not food stamps and shit, but if you're getting any kind of cash assistance in Arizona, you have to be applying for work. You have to be applying at least 40 times a week. You need to be applying for a job.
In California, because I was on unemployment for like 6 months because the company I worked for just up and moved, and they didn't give us any real notice.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was real shitty. Like, they didn't tell us until like a week before they left the state.
Wow. You guys didn't get you're supposed to get some kind of severance, aren't you, when that happens?
No, not really. That wasn't in my contract. Jesus. California likes to pretend it's got really progressive laws, but it really doesn't. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, they did it here. Like,
we're a right to work state. One of those
so is Arizona.
Where they can just fire you for anything. They don't actually have to have a real reason to fire you.
Yeah, so is Arizona, but still, like, when they shut down the call center here, they tried to not do that, and they had to, dude.
Well, we had the option if we wanted to move with them that they would let us take keep our job if we went to like Nevada with them.
Oh yeah, but you said they wouldn't cover any moving expenses.
Yeah, they wouldn't cover any moving expenses. They were going to let you stay, like you could stay with an engineer. Yeah, it was the same company.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I was on unemployment for like 6 months, 9 months, somewhere between that. And
Right.
I think like every other week you had to apply for a job.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And that was
it's pretty hardcore here. There's some shit Arizona gets wrong, but there's a lot more shit they get right, man.
Yeah. And if you wanted to manipulate it, you just go someplace and be like, hey, are you hiring? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, well, you know, is it cool if I fill out an application anyway?
Mm.
And then you just, fill out applications for places that tell you they're not hiring. It's not that hard.
Right. Yeah, but here they at least make you do that 40 times, dude.
40 you just collect a list of 40 companies that just don't want you, and fill out applications. And
but if you're putting that much work into it, you might as well apply for real jobs. Well, again, unless you're the type that just doesn't want to work.
Once you find the place that doesn't want to hire you, all you do is you fill out your application and you just photocopy that shit.
Right. Yeah. Like on this one, like you gotta have. When you fill out the paperwork, it has to have the company name, who you talk to, their website. Like it makes you put a lot of information in there.
Yeah, but I mean that's all you got to do is just start filling. You've done it so many times, it becomes like super easy.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, well, again, I'm not really totally in the mindset of never wanting to work again. But yeah, for me, I'm like, if I'm doing that, why would I fake it? Just fucking apply for jobs. Yeah,
if you're going to do that level of work, you might as well just go be like a secretary somewhere. Just answer like a customer service rep or something. It's really not that different, like as far as how much effort is involved.
Right.
But that's people just don't want to work.
Yeah. I don't get that at all. Yeah, I'm kind of. I have to try. I have to do at least one more. I have to have at least one more effort at working and see if my back can actually hold up.
Yeah, the only thing I can see being a thing that doesn't end is disability. But I think every 6 months you should have to be reevaluated by the doctors.
Right. Yeah, because they definitely milk that shit, man.
Yeah.
Or you need to at least be doing something to try, unless the doctors just say he's done, he's not. There's no way to make him better right now. That's different. But like if it's
like there's people who are on disability for being like super obese.
Oh wow! Or depressed. I've seen ones that are around for depression, shit like that.
Yeah, and so they're just collecting free money to not work, and then they're just eating a bunch of junk food so that they don't lose weight, so that they'll never have to work.
Yeah,
driving all the Medicare expenses and shit. So I mean,
it would literally not be in their best interests to lose weight or get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit.
Well,
yeah, I'm amazed
in their best interest to lose weight and get a job because they feel better, be healthier, and live longer.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're lazy, you know what I'm saying, dude. That's fucking. They don't want to.
Like I used to, when I was like a teenager and shit, I would never want to do anything. But man, like the first job I got, it was so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go in,
you actually have your own money.
Well, it was just like it was such a rewarding like feeling. Like I go in, I'd change tires for 8 hours, I'd work my ass off, and fucking, people be like, "Hey, man, you did a good job today."
Yeah, the money was. You feel like you did something, like you accomplished something, dude.
Yeah, the money was great, but the other part that was great was like, man, I fucking did something that mattered. Like people have new tires on their car, and they're safe.
Yeah, I helped somebody out. Yeah, however, whatever it is. Yeah, you helped somebody out, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it for free, I used to do that, but I felt good about doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the things that I didn't like about working at Liberty Mutual, which is really a great company to work for. Towards the end it got shitty, but actually really a great company to work for, was the fact that it was strictly sales. So if any of my customers called back and they had any customer service stuff, I had to refer them to customer service. I was not able to look into it, was not able to help them out at all. And even when I worked for like Verizon, like I was in sales, but I also helped people with their, troubleshooting or problems with their bills and shit like that. So I actually felt like I was kind of helping people at least a little. But yeah, it bugged me that Liberty Mutual did not let us do that. It was a call center, so I kind of get it, but still, I was like, I'm not used to this, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good when you can't like fix a problem. When you have to be like, nope, sorry, somebody else can do that by now.
Yeah, especially when you're used to doing it all, in other jobs, It's not an easy thing to just not help somebody. It's not really in my nature to not help somebody either,
I did some stuff that probably, if the boss just had found out when I was at the tire shop, probably would have got me fired. Like, if it was somebody I knew who came in, I was also in charge of the battery bay. Like, I would do all the checking and changing of batteries and stuff and diagnosing whether or not their alternator was good.
All right.
Real simple shit. You just hook up a machine and fucking run the car. That's all it is.
Right.
And if it was somebody I knew really well and they had something that was super easy to replace, I'd have been like, I'll be like, hey man, your alternator's bad. That's your alternator right there up on top. And it takes 2 bolts to change that shit out. And all you got to do is take a screwdriver, put it over there, and tighten it while you tighten the bolts. And I would never tell you that you should do it yourself. Like, we'd be happy to do it for you. But that's super fucking simple. Like, anybody can do that. And it only costs you $20 to come back and get it tested again to make sure it's good when you get the new one in. You know,
yeah, no,
little stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I had a friend of mine that worked, he was a mechanic, and he was pretty much the exact opposite of what you're talking about. He'd be like, yeah, well, yeah, your brakes might be all right, but if you get in an accident and the lawyers and authorities come to me, I'm going to tell them that I told you to fix it and you didn't fix it. You know, like,
that would not work on me, but I bet that worked on a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know, you'd be like, all right.
I mean, like, you actually want me to believe the fucking cops are going to come talk to you? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Walk out.
Yeah, like the fucking lawyers are going to figure out that you went to this certain spot and this certain guy.
It's not even going to come up, man. It's not even going to come up.
Yeah, insurance doesn't go anywhere near that kind of shit, dude.
No.
You know, there has to be a really compelling reason for an insurance company to investigate anything for fraud, dude.
If you're claiming your brakes went out, they'll have your car checked over by their own mechanics. They're not going to go look at anybody else's stuff.
Yeah, they're not going to go see if you had someone else check your brakes. Yeah,
unless you're suing an auto shop, lawyers are never going to do that. And if that's the case, you know, it's not going to matter what they say. It's going to matter what your car is, like what condition the car is from the work they did.
Yeah, but it worked.
They're not going to be held responsible. It's not their fault.
Yeah, he told me it worked a lot, and most of the time. Because, you know, he didn't get paid if he didn't do something.
Oh, 90% of people out there are going to be like, oh, shit, thank you for letting me know. They're going to feel like he's doing them a favor.
Yeah. It's weird because he's actually a decent guy, but it's just like you get into an environment like that where, you know, you don't get rewarded for doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, you get rewarded if you talk somebody into doing some shit they don't really need done, and you get more money. Like, it's a tough, you know what I mean? It's a tough, what do you call it? Ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the brakes might not be horribly bad, but they're probably somewhere close to where they're supposed to be fixed, but they don't really need to be fixed right away. And if you talk them into it. I always
tell people when I was doing batteries, it's just, look, man, your battery's starting to go out. It might last you a week. It might last you 6 months. I can't tell you that. There's no way for me to know.
Right.
Like, even if I pulled your battery apart, I still wouldn't be able to tell you which it is. I would recommend you.
Well, that's an honest answer.
It's up to you, man. You got to do what you got to do. I understand you got a budget, so. You know,
that's an honest answer, though. Like, my friend knew he was full of shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, and here's the thing, though. Like, the people I changed batteries for would come back for tires like 100% of the time.
Right.
Because I was honest and I shoot straight with them. And I tried to fuck them over, and I always made sure they knew what their options were before they went to deal with the sales guy.
Right.
So when they were looking for tires, they'd come back and they'd get tires there. If they wanted brakes, they'd come back and they'd get brakes there. It made more business than I did it.
Yeah, that's the thing is those like salespeople and mechanics are the two like most reviled, or at least trustworthy, or most known for trying to rip people off.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, you find somebody that's honest. Like I go to the guy my dad always went to because he's an honest guy. Like I took my car into him one time, and freaking this sucks. Knowing this after the fact, but basically my AC wasn't working, and I waited until I had like a couple $1,000s saved up before I tried to get it fixed. And dude, it was the middle of fucking summer. I don't think I brought it in until like August, dude. Like mid-August or something like that. Like, dude, it was when I was living in sober living after I came out of the second rehab. I would come down and visit my kids, and I would literally have them hose me down with the fucking garden hose and then jump in my car and fucking drive, dude. Right? Like they had
water. As the water evaporates, it keeps you cool while you're driving with all the wind. I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Although in Arizona, that's about 5 minutes, but still, It's 5 minutes longer than without it. Yeah. Well, actually, your shirt would stay. Your shirt stays pretty good because that absorbs a lot of water. But like my hair would be bone dry in like 5 minutes.
We had a couple of weeks where it was getting up to like 105, 100 and like 115 was the most, but like 105 at least every day. We had a few weeks like that.
Yeah, and that's basically like 4 months out of the year here. You know what I
mean? And so like we went out and got like little fucking spray bottles to spray ourselves with water while we're sitting in front of the fans and shit. And
yeah, it makes a huge difference.
We don't have AC.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's basically, let's see. Yeah, actually, it still stays over 100 until pretty much October. So it's basically pretty much May through October, essentially, that it's at least 100 degrees almost all the time. But anyways, so I did all that for like a couple months. Huh?
You only get like 4 months of break between summer.
Yeah, it's not much, man. It's glorious once it gets here. Like right now, it finally, like I said, when I went to the little meetup with Base Mama a week or two ago, that was the first cool night that we'd had, since obviously before summer.
Well, Arizona is never going to be on my list of places to go. No offense. I can
it depends.
I cannot handle it.
Yeah. The one nice thing about it is, you don't have to go very far. Well, California is probably like that too. Like you don't have to go that far to get out of the heat. Like it's like a 2-hour drive, and you can be somewhere where it's 30 degrees cooler.
Oh, okay. Some places in California, I can always go out to the coast.
Yeah, but like here, like if you live in North Phoenix, like Flagstaff's like 2 hours away, hour and a half, 2 hours away. Sedona is like 45 minutes away. Payson is that's about 20 degrees cooler, and that's only about 40 minutes away.
Oh, that's
so it climbs up. Yeah, because there's it goes way up in elevation. Phoenix is actually already pretty high. It's about 1,300, 1,400 feet above sea level. But yeah, it climbs up. Yeah, it climbs up significantly as soon as you go north or northeast. There's a good chunk of the state where it's a shitload of pine forests and oak forests and that kind of shit.
I'd still rather that's my point. Like 60 degrees most of the time.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I love San Diego, dude, because the weather's almost always perfect, dude. Every time I go there. But yeah, the point is, going back there. But when I finally brought it in, and I brought it to the guy my dad recommended, he was like, "Yeah, all it was this part came off. I screwed it back on, and now it works."
Yep.
And if I had brought that to another mechanic, that could have easily been, "Oh, we had to replace all this shit, and it was $2,000, and they don't do anything but screw the fucking thing back in."
Yeah, we got. I got really lucky when I went and got my Volvo work done. I went and checked all these different review sites before I picked a mechanic, and the mechanic I picked was great.
Yeah.
They weren't super expensive. They were dead honest about everything. The problem was that the oil had pretty much burned out of the engine. Like it was burning oil way too fast.
All right.
And so it just had almost no oil in it, which is, so that they fixed that by just, changing the oil and making sure it was topped off. And they were like, yeah, you really got to be on top of that.
Right.
Old Volvos, apparently once they get past 10 years old, just burn oil at like a ridiculous rate. So like once a month or something, you put a quart in.
Wow. Yeah, but that's the thing is, and when anytime he fixes something for us, I give him at least an extra $20 because I value the fact that he's not going to rip us off.
Yeah. Well, I went to a shop one time when my brakes failed on my Saab. I had an '84 Saab was my first car, the one I bought that I wanted, that I loved. And the brakes failed on it. And they were like, "Oh, you just need new pads." But like the master cylinder, literally right after I managed to get it to a stop before hitting a bunch of cars, the master cylinder was smoking, and the fucking emergency brake cables were locked. So the e-brake was on 24/7. That's part of what did it. So it was like both of those things had to be replaced, plus all the brake pads and discs and everything. It was 4-wheel disc brakes.
Wow.
And so, like, yeah, that mechanic was totally lying to me. They were like, "You just got to replace your pads."
Jesus, that's almost negligent, isn't it? Like that's fucking like illegal, isn't it?
I imagine they were giving me the low ball. So that once it was in the shop, they'd be like, look, so we changed your pads, and while we were looking at it, we figured this, and 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 this. And then they were going to hit me with like, a couple grand of a job to be done.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
But I worked at a shop.
Oh, no, it's simple. And then like, oh, no, we found this other shit. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but this is after I worked at a shop, so I knew when I was getting hosed.
Right.
I knew that. I was like, yeah, all right, nice try. I'm not taking somewhere else, but thank you for your time.
Right.
I'd rather just pay I just paid him like $40 for the inspection, and I'm like, thanks, bye.
Okay. Yeah, they kind of assume, especially nowadays, like it used to be just women that got that treatment, but nowadays they assume most guys don't know shit either. You know what I mean?
If I go to a shop that I don't know and I haven't been at, I'll play dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if they're going to treat me fair, if they're going to give me a good deal or not.
Right.
Like, they're going to be honest.
Yeah,
so that's how I know whether or not, because I can always get my car towed somewhere else for $20.
Right.
Or 30 or whatever. Even if it's $50, I'll still tow it somewhere else if it's going to be somebody that's going to try to rip me off.
Yeah, if you know it's somebody dishonest motherfucker, yeah, it's worth it just to
exactly
not have them deal with your car. Yeah, I gotcha. But yeah, they're definitely known.
Yep, you got to be careful. Yeah, we had the mechanic that was really good for a long time, but then his business started to get like he got a ton of business because he was honest, right. And then he started cutting corners and shit. And we were just like, oh, sucks. Now I got to find somebody else.
Yeah. That is unfortunate, man. You'd think he would just be like, "Look, I'm too busy." You know what I mean? Like instead of just trying to fucking rush through everything. Yeah, it sucks, man. But no, my guy's pretty good, man. Like, and usually it's not something that's an emergency. And so I tell him that. I'm like, dude, just let me know when you can look at it. It's no rush, just whenever. It's hardly ever more than a day or two anyway, But yeah, like I said, I know he's not going to bullshit me. And I cannot imagine how much the fucking, if I brought it to some random place, how much they would have charged me to just screw back on a part of my AC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because even then, I think I gave him like an extra. I gave him a lot extra. Like I think he only charged me $40. And I'm pretty sure I gave him like at least 80, maybe 100, just because of the fact that I know how much money he fucking saved me, dude.
Yeah,
or potentially saved me.
Oh, it's like people that go in and get their AC fixed, and it's like all they really need is just to get their AC recharged, but somebody sells them like a new AC compressor and fucking lines and shit. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's one of the things Sears Auto Center, which is the place where I first worked, got busted for a long time before I started working there, was selling people shit they didn't need. They would tell people they needed stuff that wasn't broken. So
is it a situation where they didn't even replace it, or they actually
no, they would replace the parts. I mean, look, man, I got to see behind the veil on that, and let me tell you, the parts you're paying for, they cost maybe a fifth of what you're paying.
Oh yeah. No, it's the same way when I worked in wireless. Like, you pay between 30 and maybe $45 for like a car charger for your phones. Yeah. Those things are like $150, $250. Like, they're really fucking cheap, dude. Even the good quality ones are only like maybe $3.
That's the thing is that people keep talking about like corporate, improvements to our cost of living, and it's bullshit.
Yeah,
we're not benefiting from the fact that it's a couple of bucks for a charger. They're benefiting from it. They're still charging the same as if it were made in here. It were made in America and cost like $30 to make.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous.
It really is. Yeah, cases, car chargers, those things don't cost more than a few bucks, dude. And they're charging $25, $30, $40.
And I don't believe it's market value. I think what they're doing is price fixing.
Yeah.
I think there's behind the doors. I think there's behind the scenes agreements on what they're going to charge for stuff.
Yeah,
like there's a range where they're like, we'll charge between $20 to $30 for this kind of part, and you do the same, and then we just switch back and forth on who's selling it cheaper which month.
Right. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd be surprised if that's not what's going on.
It would stun me, to be honest.
Yeah,
with a lot of that stuff. Because when I you go somewhere and you get like 4 tires, and you spend like $600, like you're spending usually $2 to $3 for like new valve stems, the little part that you put the air in.
Right.
I'm not, you might not know, but just in case somebody else doesn't know, and it's a tiny little part that costs the auto store 10 cents a pop.
Right.
And they're charging you at least $2 or $3 a pop for it.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. You know, it's like, what is that, 2,000% markup, basically?
Yeah. And then for the tires, they're probably paying half of what you pay. For most tires.
Yeah, it's definitely greedy, man. So I know, obviously you have costs that you have to fucking, overhead or whatever. But yeah, you're making obscene profits on that shit.
Yeah, if it's like store brand tires, like the Sears brand, they're probably making 75% profit off of that. They're probably charging you about 3 times what they pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
It's crazy, man. I don't begrudge anybody making a profit, and the market can somewhat affect that. But a lot of these things, it's just price fixing. It's like they've all determined that they're going to charge this much for tires, and it has to do with what their actual costs are, and it's not none of the benefit of getting the slave labor across the ocean is coming to us. It's just not coming here at all.
Yeah, there definitely has to be some collusion going on with that shit, man.
Well, I don't
understand.
The Tuckermobile.
What?
The Tuckermobile, that shit was straight up collusion. And the first release of the Charger. So the Tuckermobile was a deal where it had 3 headlights, and the middle headlight swiveled back and forth with the steering wheel. So it would look around a corner, like you're going around the corner, the light would go around the corner with you, and it was much safer at the time. Big huge issue. And at the time it was, I think it was like Chevy, Ford, GMC, and like, what was the other one? They were like the big four companies shut it down through the courts. They basically used the court system to get it so that the guy was not allowed to make cars. So it's like, again, they're not
fucking horrible.
They're preventing competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unreal how they can actually get away with that shit. Like, even if they don't really have to pay,
because they're paying off all the senators, man. The people who are supposed to be enforcing like antitrust laws are getting all the payoffs. That's what it is.
Yeah. It really is fucking amazing how they can get away with that shit. Yeah, when's the last time you heard about a serious antitrust suit, man? Microsoft?
Microsoft. Well, Gab is trying to do one now against Google and iTunes for their trying to prevent that app from being on the store.
Yeah, I'm glad, man.
Which is it absolutely. They're absolutely right. It is a violation of antitrust laws.
Right.
Like they're specifically trying to prevent them from competing with Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious to see if that comes out. I'm really curious to see if that case comes out the way it should, though. Because there's no fucking guarantee.
I don't think it will. I think Gab's going to lose.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit, dude.
We're still in the middle of the moral panic. I mean, if it goes on for long enough, the moral panic will end, and they'll probably win. But it's gonna be a long,
it's gonna take forever
process.
Yeah, time and effort, time and money. It's gonna be up there, man. That sucks, man. Because they really need somebody to fucking take them out at this point.
Yeah. Well, and then initially, so like the Chevy Volt, right? It's like a hybrid electric car that Chevy put out.
Oh, right.
Initially, when they were first released in the 90s, they had a longer range, and they were like way better, like 100 times better fully electric car than was out on the market at the time.
Yeah.
And then there were some backdoor meetings between them and the oil companies. And suddenly all the Volts were recalled and destroyed.
Yeah. I guarantee. Yeah. So the oil companies basically paid them off to not have that electric car.
Well, and now we get like this hybrid gas version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or
is the Tesla one, is that a hybrid or is that a straight electric?
Well, the Volt now is hybrid. The
original
Volt
Tesla
was completely electric. Oh, Tesla's completely electric.
Yeah, but even they,
But that's
like, you
Elon
remember
Musk.
what
He
happened
has
during the
enough money;
hurricane
they
thing?
can't go after him.
Mm.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
has enough money to force it through. They can't fuck with him because he's a billionaire. He's got enough money to make that shit work.
Yeah, but dude, the fact that they basically have like the two different models have the same battery, but there's software that prevents the entire battery from being used. I think that's fucked up, dude.
I think that's shouldn't be legal. You shouldn't be able to lock somebody out of something you sold them.
Yeah,
like you own the car, they can't just take the car back. The reason that the original Volt worked is they only leased them, so nobody was allowed to actually buy them. And then they could just take them all back once the leases were over, and then destroy them. And they just destroyed every single one of them.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, I know the oil companies have kept the electric engine from fucking becoming prevalent. Yeah, obviously it's in their own interest to do that because they're gonna fucking it's probably been. I heard somewhere that it's been like pretty much the internal combustion engine as opposed to an electric engine has been kind of obsolete for about 50 years. But the oil companies have fucking suppressed it for so long, dude.
Well, and the other thing is, like, people talk about solar power not being a viable way to power everything. Like, you can't replace all of the electricity that we generate with just solar generated electricity, and they're very true. It's very true,
right?
But they won't ever talk about, like, what if you used all of the other options that are available: geothermal power, wind power, solar power, tidal power, all these other options.
Yeah. If you add it all up, but then again, the gas companies aren't making as much money. The oil companies aren't making as much money.
Ethanol and methanol, which are both fairly easy and would be a much better use of all that corn that we make.
Right.
Because here's the thing that they also lie about. After you've used the corn to make methanol or ethanol, it can still then be used as perfectly good animal feed.
Right.
So, whereas making it in a high fructose corn syrup, it's not useful for feed afterwards.
Wow. That's fucking insane. Yeah.
So it would
no fucking souls, man.
And if you had a couple of solar panels on your roof and you lived in an area where it was fairly sunny a lot of the time, you could have a solar powered electric car that really you almost never have to pay anything to.
Yeah, you just charge it off your own house. Yeah. Although it is kind of encouraging that they're, I can't remember where it was, but they actually are going to build I don't know if they did or hadn't done it yet, but they're building roads that have fucking solar panels on them,
dude. All the Kaiser hospitals around where I'm at are installing solar panels all over their parking lots. And so what they're doing is they're making all of the parking lots covered parking. So you can park in the shade everywhere with these big metal shade things. And then on top of those are solar panels on all of them.
Yeah, and I was always kind of curious why they didn't do that. Like, you're having to do shade stuff anyway. You got covered parking anyway. Put it on top of it.
They didn't have it before. They do now. We never had any covered parking spots on any of the Kaiser campuses.
Yeah. So that's good, totally man. New in this area. Yeah. All right, let's see. I was just looking it up. World's first solar road opens in France. This was back in 2016 sometime. December. So 7-8 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever. But yeah, apparently it's really expensive. But
I'm sure it is. Like, I don't know about solar roads, but putting in solar panels on your parking lot if you're a business, and then offering like a spot for people to park and charge their electric car is a good idea. It's a real It's a clever way to drum up business, especially in an area like California where everybody and their mom is like, eco, man, eco.
Yeah, malls malls would be a great place for that kind of shit. Like, you have covered parking, you can plug it, go in, go shopping while your car's charging or whatever.
Yeah, the top level on the mall parking lot, if they just did covers of solar panels for all of it and just offered charging stations for, all the hybrids and electric vehicles, people would love that shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah. Well, maybe it's coming.
Well, I think
But,
it is.
yeah,
I mean, Kaiser's
unfortunately,
like starting it already, so I'm sure, you know.
yeah. But
It's
still,
not like Kaiser's going to spend the money on something that's not going to fucking have some sort of financial gain for them.
Yeah, that's something that's not viable like that. Yeah. Although again, I think the oil companies are obviously well. I think they're actually finally realizing that no matter how much money they have, eventually, people are just fucking more aware of the shit now. And obviously, the shit that you're using now is not an infinite resource. So some of them are finally trying to switch over and at least take over.
Well, and let's save all the oil we have for the military that really needs it.
Right.
You know, I'd much rather like it be used for like NASCAR and jets and tanks, you know, and that kind of thing, or like emergency vehicles that really need to be gas powered for whatever reason.
Right.
Like, I don't want my fire trucks and my police cars running off of solar power and hoping that they charged up before they.
Hoping it's not windy out. Yeah, or windy, fucking cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah, I want those to be gas powered, but I think everybody else could be easily driving electric vehicles. It would be far superior and far cheaper too.
Yeah.
Even though you got to replace the battery every 15, 20 years, you got to replace all the batteries. I still think
cheaper, easier, cleaner. There's really no real drawbacks to it, man.
There is some debate on how much pollution is made by producing and disposing of the batteries.
Oh,
but I think part of that is because we're not doing it on a big enough scale. And it's not really a problem right now because it's on such a small scale. I think once it becomes a bigger problem, it'll force the creation of ways to handle the pollution. But as far as like smog,
the used batteries is worse than the pollution.
No, they're not. It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about greenhouse gases, no, not at all.
Right.
There's no comparison. It's way better for the environment in that respect.
Yeah.
But it does create like dead zones around the factories and the mines.
So, all right.
That's fixable. There's ways to fix that, but right now it's such a small service at this point that it's not. There's no value in fixing it.
Yeah. It's not worth the effort at this point, basically, or the investment, I should say.
But if batteries become a billion-dollar business, multi-billion-dollar business, then it's worth figuring out how to make cleaner batteries. It's worth figuring out how to make longer lasting batteries that can hold more of a charge. It's worth, making lighter batteries.
Yeah. Well, if what you're saying about the volt is right, it sounds like they already had that.
Well, yeah, if you look at the difference between the batteries that are legally allowed in the U.S. and the ones legally allowed all over Europe, as much as people hate the fucking EU and all that, aside, the battery technology is like a fucking decade ahead of us over there.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Just like wireless, like the cell phones, man, and cell service, we are so far behind, especially Japan, but like everywhere else on the planet.
We have a lot more physical distance to cover. Like, I agree that we're way behind and we should be working at getting a lot better, but we do have a lot more land.
It's pretty good area to cover. Yeah, Japan is very condensed.
They have one little island and everybody lives there, and even then they still group up in a very small portion of the island.
Yeah, it's all pretty much Tokyo, and that's pretty much it. We
have like the equivalent of like 100 Japans, or maybe 1,000. I don't know. Right. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna look that up. How many Japans would fit in the U.S.?
Yeah. Oh, you mean size-wise? I thought you meant population-wise, dude. I'm gonna say there's a lot of motherfuckers living there, all stacked up on each other. Have you ever seen the areas in Japan where like some people they're essentially homeless, but they're living in like this little area that actually has like an electrical outlet. It's weird. They're like stacked up, almost living in a cardboard box, but they at least have a little spot that's their own, and it at least has, again, like an electrical plug.
Damn it. On a site that. Oh, you could fit Japan in the U.S. 67 times.
Yeah.
Like a cell phone tower only has so much range, and we have a lot of distance to cover. So that's the thing where I'm talking about. It's just, it takes a lot more cell phone towers to cover the U.S.
Yeah. No, I remember like anytime any new technology would come out, man, it would obviously you're going to do the big cities first. And like, especially when I lived up in Flagstaff, like it took us fucking forever. You know, when I lived up there, they still had like fucking just outside of Flagstaff, all the areas around Flagstaff were all still analog. Like they didn't even have the fucking digital shit up there. Like Flagstaff did, but everything around it was still the old analog shit. Like, you know, from 1980 fucking 3 or whatever.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it took forever. Yeah. Yeah, it took forever to get
I used to work on making circulators and isolators, microwave circulators and isolators, which are equipment that goes in cell phone towers to protect the amps. Because amps can send out that signal really, really strong, but anything that comes back and they fucking burn out super easy. So you put a microwave circulator or isolator in there, it's sort of like having a circuit breaker that doesn't just blow all the time, but just keeps it from popping the amp.
Yeah, kind of shields it basically.
Yeah, it sends the signal out through it, and then if the signal comes back, it sends it into like a bunch of resistors and dissipates it in heat.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So that the amplifier doesn't blow up. Because the amplifier costs, you know, a couple $100,000. A circulator and isolator costs, you know, $500-600. You know, if you're gonna have, and it doesn't need to be replaced very often, but even then, even if it does, it's still
saving a shitload of money.
The world's cheaper.
Right.
And when I was making those were actually relatively new technology. Nobody else made them, so it was taking a while to fit all of the cell phone towers for all the different companies, because the guy had a patent essentially. And they were in the process. All those companies were in the process of sending our shit to like the UK, where his patent was, so that they could try to reverse engineer it. And they didn't have a clue.
Wow, that's fucking awesome, dude.
So
that's fucking great.
It was definitely interesting.
I like to hear that shit like that.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to see like how cell phones improved the more of those we made.
Right.
Suddenly,
so you basically work for cable then?
I worked for a small company that contracted and sold stuff to like Verizon and AT&T.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the comic book character Cable.
Oh yeah, essentially, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because you know how he. Well,
I thought you were talking about like Cable Company, and I was confused.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I realized that as you were starting to talk. I'm like, oh no, I'm talking about. Yeah, because you know how he one of his things was he would make weapons that could not be broken down and could not be reverse engineered.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, when I realized what you meant. we were. Yeah, he was our boss. A very tall, skinny, extremely nerdy-looking Cable.
Right.
And you could tell the dude had been used to being like the nerd that was picked on because like the things he bought with his money were so silly.
Like one of the look at me now kind of shit.
We know Ford McLaren. It's like like a $500,000, $600,000 like sports car that looks like a race car.
Yeah, it's like almost like a Formula One car, basically.
Yeah, he bought one of those.
Yeah.
And he had his own personal airplane that he would fly, and the company was right next to an airfield, so he could check it out. Like he could see his plane from his desk.
Wow.
It's like, yeah,
it was all
making up for all those people picking on him in high school and shit. You could tell.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of look at where I am now, fuckers.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of
airplane,
shit.
I think, was just he genuinely like adored flying. He would take people out for rides.
Oh, right.
Like employees, like if you did really good, he would take you out for a ride in his airplane. I have no interest in that, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wanted to learn to be a pilot when I was a kid. In fact, if we had not moved out here to Arizona from New York, I was planning on taking pilot lessons. Yeah, but I can understand not wanting to do it.
The only fear of heights I have is when it comes to man-made structures, which is ironic. So, like, if I'm on a really tall building, I don't feel safe. If I'm looking over the edge or if I'm standing too close to the edge, I don't feel safe on a building.
Oh, wow.
But I'll walk right up to the edge of a cliff and it's no big deal.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
And when you think about it, the building is far and away safer than like the cliff will ever be.
Right. Yeah, all kinds of shit can go wrong on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah,
fucking some dirt
way
or
dumber.
rocks.
Way dumber to be at the edge of a cliff than it is to just check over the fucking railing of a balcony.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, everybody's got their weird shit, you know. I used to be really afraid of heights. It was one of the reasons that I actually worked construction with my friends that one summer, was because I wanted to face that fear, like, you know, and I kind of got over it. But it was funny when I first, when I first worked there, like, you know, you have the bags, the construction guys have the bags they wear around their waist. You have nails, your hammer, and all that shit in them.
Yeah, your tool belt. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you know, they're huge nowadays. They're fucking bags everywhere. Well, anyways, like anytime I had to go up a ladder, I would fucking take my bag off and like kind of sling it over my shoulder and walk up the ladder like one by one, dude. Like it would take me forever. And it finally got to the point where the foreman like told my friend, he's like, dude, you got to tell him to stop. He's got to stop doing that. Like he's got, like I can't have him here if he's going to be constantly taking his bags off, putting them back on every time he goes up and down a fucking ladder. You know? but by the end I was, you know, fucking racing up and down with my bags on, no problem. But yeah, it definitely took me a little bit to get over my fear. But I'm glad I did. Really glad I did.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between respecting a danger and just being terrified of the danger.
Yeah, mine was definitely phobia. It was well beyond, you know, respecting danger. It was
like you're climbing up the ladder and just being careful. Like that's being, you know, okay, I'm respecting that this could potentially be dangerous.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, if you're like approaching the ladder and making a sacrifice to the ladder god,
right.
You know?
Yeah, not quite that bad, but not that far off, to be honest with you.
For me, it's always just like, how many pounds does this ladder take? Am I too heavy for this ladder? Yeah, no, I'm not getting on the ladder.
Yeah, well, although most of them are well over 400
pounds. More weight.
Right. Like, actually, it was the reason I took the job at the Verizon too, is because I was so fucking socially awkward that I took a job in sales, so I would have to talk to people. I would have to deal with people.
Well, that makes sense. I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still pretty socially awkward, but goddamn, if I hadn't have done that job, I can't imagine what a fucking wreck I would be nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you got to talk to people at some point, like.
Right. Yeah. That's what I try to instill in my son. My son's pretty good about, you know, trying to overcome shit, overcome obstacles, or, you know, if shit gets hard, work harder, that kind of thing. But his mom, holy shit, dude! The minute anything got even remotely difficult, she was done, dude. Just fucking never fucking put in any effort. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna try. And I was like, yeah, I was really afraid that he was going to get infected with that same attitude, and it seems like he's not, dude. To which I'm really grateful for. I think I don't know, it could just be he was just like that, but I like to think I instilled that in him. Like, dude, don't just give up, dude. Work harder.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like we were. When we were going camping, like one of the guys we went with, one of my brother's friends, was showing him how to start a fire with like flint and like a knife or whatever, and you know, the kindling, whatever. And he actually kept at it, man. Like it was not working like at all. It took him like about 25 minutes, man, but he fucking stuck with it, dude, the whole time, and actually got a fucking fire started with it.
Yeah.
So like I said, if it was his mom,
you really got to work at it.
Yeah, if that was his mom, she would have tried it for about 10 seconds and been like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this, and fucking quit. But yeah, I was really amazed by how easily some people give up, man. It's amazing.
I don't know. There's sometimes when you just know it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's different, you know, man. Yeah.
But yeah, as long as you're not just giving up all the time, that's the
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're so bullheaded or pigheaded, whatever you want to call it, where like you're not even considering the fact that what you're attempting is not possible, you're just trying it anyway. Yeah. But if it's something where you fucking know, or it's pretty obvious that, you know, all it's really going to take is just a little effort, or even a lot of effort, or whatever, and you just never try. I don't know. I think that's just it's just tragic.
Yep. I mean, it's their own loss, really.
Yeah, and all that. I don't know, man. That seems to be that attitude seems to be more and more prevalent nowadays, man. People will be like, "Oh, it's okay. You tried. Good job for trying."
Oh, well, that's not the same as saying, like, I can't. Approving of that kind of behavior is different from being like, I can't make them do it. Like, I can't make them actually put the work in.
Right.
Like, that's not approving of it. That's just saying, yeah, it sucks, but I cannot control another person now.
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, well, you gave it a shot. That's sort of like tacitly approving. Where you're like, well, you did good, son. You did good, even though, like, no, really.
Yeah, if it was not a genuine effort, like you didn't really try hard, and you're like, yeah.
I think for me, it would really depend on like what the initial interest was. So,
right.
like, if the person is like, I don't really want to play baseball, but I guess this guy wants me to play, so I guess I'll give it a try for now, and then see where.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, my parents. I mean, I enjoyed playing baseball. My parents never made me. You know what I mean? And I never. My son likes to play, but he doesn't want to play Little League or any of that shit. So I'm not forcing him to do any of it.
No, but there are parents who are like, you're going to be on the football team, or you're going to be on the basketball, or whatever. I can get what people are like.
Oh yeah,
trying because they don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, you see it plenty. Like a lot of players, man, you can tell, or it appears. So you can't really tell, but like Jay Cutler. Well, you're not really a sports fan. Jay Cutler's a quarterback. He played for the Broncos and then the Bears for a while. It's fairly obvious that playing football is his job, and it's not something that he particularly enjoys. He just happens to be really good at throwing a football.
Oh yeah, so exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that play football because they love football, and then there's people like Cutler and others that just happen to be really good at it, and it's a pain in the ass job for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I was DMing the Dungeons and Dragons we did on this channel for a little while. Like at first I really enjoyed it, but then after a while it just became like a job that I had to do. And I was just like,
right. Yeah, once it becomes a chore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Although as far as jobs go,
it wasn't it wasn't miserable. It just was like, well, I'm doing this because I kind of have to now. I have an obligation.
Yeah, it was fun at first, but now, like it's kind of getting old, and now I kind of feel obligated, and now it sucks.
Well, and the players were great. Like they did fun stuff. They weren't boring. It was just like I kind of got tired of doing the whole like world creation in that respect.
Right. Yep. But I was thinking, as far as that, like quarterback they get paid pretty well.
Yeah, I'm not feeling bad for Mr. Cutler.
Yeah. Like you said, Stafford for the Lions just signed a fucking $27 million a year contract.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing all right. Even shitty quarterbacks make,
Why?
The worst fucking starting quarterback in the league is probably still making, $5-6 million a year.
Pardon me. I know we were talking about like the take a knee thing for football this time. I wanted to say like I think LeBron James created a $41 million scholarship program for kids that come from his hometown to go to college. So
yeah,
they don't have the money to go to college, but have whatever else it takes, can go to college because this dude, this athlete who's like, I want to help people out. Didn't just take a fucking knee in the national anthem. He put his fucking money up and said, hey.
Yeah, he's got a little more credibility. I mean, I still think because go ahead.
I don't like LeBron James, but I can respect that.
Yeah, he's actually doing something. Like everyone else is kind of fucking posturing and virtue signaling or whatever. But yeah, he's actually doing something to make the world a better place.
Taking a knee and yelling at people for being white doesn't fix a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Putting
And
$41
here's the
million
thing, I actually,
into a scholarship program fixes a lot of things.
fucking huge. I mean, yeah, honestly, even with his endorsements and everything, 40 million honestly isn't even a huge amount of money for him, but it's still a huge
More
amount of
than he
money,
had to
dude.
give. A lot more than he had to give.
Yeah, it's 40 million more than he had to give. And although this is one thing I found out after we talked Sunday, I kind of looked this up, found out a vast majority of athletes have some kind of charity, and a lot of them are genuine. And what LeBron James putting up that much money, that's fucking genuine. But it gives them a huge tax break. Obviously, it makes them look good, PR wise. But a vast majority of them, something like almost 80% of them, are substandard. That they were rated as not really charities. Some of them get their fucking status pulled. It's basically something where they're just getting family members to have a tax-free income.
Yeah.
Like their brother's a fucking bum, but he's technically the head of this charity or whatever.
Yeah, the brother runs the charity. The brother gets a paycheck that doesn't get taxed.
Yeah,
it's still income tax still gets paid, but it's not like gift tax, which would have been a lot worse.
Right. And the thing is that money's coming in.
Also get on top of it, they get tax breaks for
exactly. Yeah, so that's why almost all of them have some kind of charity. Is because of the huge tax breaks, and again, obviously the PR. Yeah, and apparently, like one of the worst ones was Lamar Odom, who he played for the Lakers for a while. He had set one up, and he had set this one up, and he's for cancer research. And he said because his mom died of cancer when he was like 12 years old or whatever. But it does almost nothing. It contributed almost nothing towards any kind of cancer research. And he was taking the funds and basically using it to fund his AAU basketball team, which is the Amateur Athletic Union AAU teams. They travel around and fucking play, basically high school kids, like kind of like a high school all-star team.
So he was actually doing something for his community, but lying about what it was, essentially to get more like money and to get better tax breaks.
Yeah, although AAU shit is kind of suspicious, dude. Like it's kind of shady.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, but I'm sure like some of those kids are probably getting helped into colleges and getting helped into like sports eventually, like that's sort of like one of the stepping stone kind of deals.
Yeah, so that's not bad, but still the fact that he used his dead mother as the excuse for the charity and then did nothing to fucking help what he said it was for, I think is just fucking horrific.
I'm sure that's more common than people think, and it tells the lie that a lot of extreme Republicans like Steven Crowder like to tell. It proves the lie that a lot of them like to tell. That if you just give people all their money, they'll naturally want to donate and help people out. And that's how we don't need to have social programs in place because rich people will just naturally donate money. And the reality is no.
Yeah, a vast majority of rich people do not give a shit and do not care to give back. There's plenty that do and probably legitimately care, but I would say it's a very small percentage.
Oh, I'll be honest, man. If I won the lotto tomorrow, there would be no donations.
Right.
I wouldn't be donating to anything. I wouldn't write a check to anybody but like somebody I wanted to buy something from. For at least
I'm thinking I would make sure my kid was taken care of, and that's all I would really be focused on.
I'd make sure that nobody in my family was going to starve to death.
Yeah.
I'm not paying anybody's bills. I'd make sure nobody's going to starve to death. My mom, I'd make sure she can retire, but like as far as charities and stuff, there'd be no donations from me.
Yeah.
Not until
if I got approached, maybe I'd help, but I doubt it. Like
I would have at least.
I wouldn't even want to be fucking identified. I would not want anybody to know that I won the lottery.
I would not give money to anybody I don't know other than to buy something I truly had thought out and wanted for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
So like I would buy a van and I would pay for the van. But if somebody comes up and wants to start a business, get a charity donation, fuck them.
Yeah. Plus, even the supposedly good charities, very little of the money that they bring in is actually going back out to help anybody. Like it's fucking maybe 20%. Like the rest of the gobbled up in like administrative costs and shit like that.
Yeah, the company I work for, the amount of money that goes back to the clients out of the amount of money they get is extremely low. It's not very. We would not be a high-rated charity. The work we do is good, but like the CEO of the company makes a way bigger check than he should be making for that size company.
Right.
He's pulling in a couple $100,000, and it really should only be like an 80 or 90 grand position. It's a small company, and it's a nonprofit. It should not be paying $200,000 or $300,000 a year to this guy.
Yeah. That was the other thing. Did you know that the fucking NFL is a nonprofit?
Are you kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you, dude. The NFL that makes over $9 billion with a B. $9 billion a year is a non-profit organization, dude.
See, that's the kind of bullshit that needs to stop. Like, I'm totally down with tax cutting the rates, but they need to take all these loopholes out, and they need to stop allowing these companies to just flat out lie.
No, this is why the fucking owners were doing this bullshit kneeling, dude. The owners heard him say something about, it wasn't the Kaepernick shit that the owners gave a shit about. It was Trump saying something about revoking their fucking nonprofit status. That's why the owners were down there kneeling with the players.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is, as a nonprofit, that's why the government can give them so much money.
Yeah, dude.
That's why we can pay, billions of dollars to have them build giant arenas to play their games in. Despite the fact that it should never have been, we should never have been spending tax money on that. That's totally unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
We're in debt. There's people starving. I'd much rather we be paying for people to have food, to get homeless people off the streets, than building any sort of sports auditorium that we don't need to spend any money on. It's going to be built regardless of what we put in. And that's my money.
Yeah, it's a fucking. Yeah, it really should be something that's not able to be done unless you've cleaned up pretty much everything. No homeless people or that kind of shit.
Or we've paid off all that enormous debt.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with like building a public park. That's something where everybody gets to use it. When was the last time you went out onto fucking Wrigley Field and had a picnic? Or played some baseball with your kids. Let's not
they're very
pretend
specific.
That's going to be a public work where you get access to it because your tax money built it.
Yeah, it's not like you get in for free for one thing. And plus, let's say you're not a fan of that sport or that team, or you don't go to concerts. Like that thing's doing you, a vast majority.
Well,
of people.
You're not getting into concerts free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that either. But
you can't go and like file a fucking form with your local city or county government and rent the place for $50 to have a party with your friends. Like you can do with a big park. You can rent a space in the park and have a little barbecue with your family
or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm fine with public works. They have to actually be public work.
It should be something that's open to everybody in the public to use.
We should never be paying Walmart to open a business.
Yeah,
Walmart's going to open that store whether the fucking city pays them or not. We shouldn't be paying them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
It's not like
especially considering how much of a drag they end up being on resources because they pay their fucking employees just under where they can still get all the fucking benefits. So it's amazing how much
they pay their employees so little that the average Walmart store costs about $1 million a year in benefits.
Yeah.
So like people getting food stamps, rent assistance, WIC, whatever you want, all the different stuff that Walmart employees have to be able to get by from the government while they're working full time.
Yeah.
Ends up being about
and they make sure they will make goddamn sure you do not work over 40 hours, dude. Like it's fucking they're hardcore about that shit.
Yeah, I think only like the upper management can work 40 hours and get benefits. And everybody wants to pretend that that's jobs that people need. It's like, no, let somebody else come in and build businesses You know, let like 4 or 5 other small businesses start up in the same space. You'll employ more people, and they'll have better jobs. Like they'll make more money.
Yeah,
You'll actually improve your local economy as opposed to, you know, fucking degrade it.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how they get away with that shit, man.
Billions of fucking dollars that they're giving away to senators and fucking representatives.
Yep. Yep, and it really doesn't. You know, like I said, for the most part, that's why they generally don't have to support the national senators or congressmen. All they have to do is go into individual state senates or houses or whatever, and get those fucking guys bought off.
City governments too.
Yeah, yeah, cities,
the city I live in
whatever.
just approved $29 million in road repairs. And from what I can tell, they're only repairing the roads that the annual Ironman race that goes through my town goes on.
Wow.
So, like, literally, they're not even repairing the roads that need it. They're just repairing, like, the roads that were already pretty much fine.
Jesus.
Just so that the fucking races can go through without as much problem.
Yeah. Can't have any potholes for those triathlon guys.
Mm-hmm. There weren't potholes on the roads.
Yeah. You would think, I mean, it's not a big deal that they do that, but if it's mainly just that, that's fucking horrible, dude.
It's a big deal to me that they spent $29 million and the roads that they're repairing weren't bad.
Oh, right. Yeah, see, I'm imagining that there are like fucking potholes and shit everywhere. That's
these roads were fine. There were no potholes, no problems.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, dude. Yeah, or if they did all the other streets too, you know, that would be a lot easier to swallow, I would imagine.
If they're repairing the route and they're also repairing all these other smaller roads that need repairing, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But so far, the only work they've done is the shit we don't need fixed.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of years ago, they repaved the road on the hill. There's literally a hill in my town, my city, where all these rich people live in these fucking like little McMansion neighborhoods.
No.
You know, you're talking like houses with like 10 or 15 rooms. Like they're not your average suburban house. They're definitely like a little mini mansion kind of deal.
Right.
You know, if you're not a doctor or a lawyer, you're not fucking making enough money. Or if you haven't inherited your money,
right,
you're not making enough to live there. And you know, and then they all have gardening services. None of them actually fucking take care of their own lawns.
Right, yeah. Of course not.
Unless they're retired or something, and they need something to do, like mow lawn, it gets them on a fucking
the only time they do that. Yeah. I garden because I have nothing fucking else to do. I'm retired.
They repaved all of the roads up on the hill. None of them were bad. There were no potholes. There were no cracks. The roads were fine.
There's one fucking rich fucking trophy wife was like, "Hey, I saw a crack in that," and they're like, "Okay, we'll repave the entire fucking neighborhood."
So you repaved the entire neighborhood, and it was ridiculous.
It's like, it just looks icky. Fix it.
Yeah, it was
so fucking horrible,
absurd.
Man. Yeah,
and that's Democrats for you, man. That's like the Democrats. It's like people want to pretend there's a good side and a bad side, and it's like, no, they're all fucking.
Well, I think it's funny that the Democrats claim to be for the fucking quote unquote working man, and then they fucking do shit like that anyway, dude.
Yeah. Oh, they destroy the working man far worse than the Republicans.
Yeah.
They both do it, but like the Democrats are far worse.
They're far
fucking Democrats
worse.
Also take away your guns so that now when the criminal element comes in, you got nothing to you can't fight back.
You can't defend yourself. Yeah.
And if you do, even though you do use your guns that you legally should own and legally should have the right to use to defend yourself, you're going to go to jail in a Democrat area far more easily.
Yeah, for defending yourself. Yeah, that blows my fucking mind, dude. I'm in Arizona, so that really blows my fucking mind.
If Trump wants to win me over forever and ever, he'll have a federally mandated stand your ground law nationwide. That just every state now is a stand your ground state. The state laws don't matter because it's to me that's part of the Constitution.
Yeah, I think that would deter an incredible amount of crime, man. Like, if you know that anybody can fucking is able to defend themselves and fucking shoot you if you fuck up.
Oh my God, if he does something to stop the states from doing their own gun control shit and just makes it like, Nick, no, this is all the gun control that's allowed.
Which really should be something.
You're a felon.
It really should be something that's the same from universally across the whole country.
Yeah, it should be, because you're talking about a constitutional right which applies to everybody in the country. So where's this bullshit that it's okay for California to have all these really strict laws that directly violate it?
Yeah,
but it's also okay for Texas to have all these laws that don't violate it, so that if they, you can carry a gun around, no big deal.
Yeah, dude, it really amazes me how Arizona and California are right next to each other, and they are almost exact fucking opposites, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Well, what I want to see open loaded carry allowed everywhere. Concealed carry allowed with a permit, and it should not be very difficult to get the permit unless you've committed some sort of crime.
Right.
And I want to see just zero restrictions on the kind of guns you can get.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I used to think. Go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Well, I know that sounds extreme, but the vast majority of people who want those kind of like machine guns are going to get them anyway.
Yeah. And here's the thing: like, I used to think, like, well, fuck, man, if everybody's going to be that armed and have that many guns, like, people are going to be shooting each other like crazy. And again, I realized it's actually the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, the Old West argument.
If you're both fucking armed, neither of you going to pull it out because you're probably both going to fucking die, dude.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that you're going to die. Like, it's. Yeah.
Well, people talk about like it'll be like the Old West, and what they don't realize is that the laws were drastically different in the Old West.
Right.
If somebody talks shit about your mom, you were allowed to shoot them.
Right. Yeah, you could fucking have a shootout in the middle of town.
Yeah,
dude.
and it was legal.
Yeah.
Like this guy wanted to duel you, you wanted to duel him. This is all holdovers from fucking Europe, where it was perfectly legal to duel for a very long time.
Right.
If you both agreed to fight to the death, nobody was going to say, hey, you can't do that. And it was really like there was, if somebody said the wrong thing, cheated at cards, you had a right to shoot.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
And anybody that few and far between. We were still expanding. There really wasn't a comprehensive law enforcement from border to border. And if you went from one state to another, there really was no law that was going to follow you.
Yeah. And
you said your name was that you changed your name. You're Billy Bob, and then you're in another state. You're John Smith. Nobody's going to fucking question that. There's no way to prove it.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts, man. But yeah, nowadays, like, obviously it's completely different than that. We're a unified fucking country. There's certain things that just should not be different state to state. There's a bunch of shit that should be. But yeah, gun control, guns, knives, weapons.
I don't have a problem with
there should be something that's federal, dude, that rules everybody the same.
Some speed limits, whether or not you're allowed to do like weed or, the drinking age and stuff like that. How you do your driver's licenses, as long as everybody's got the same driver's license, it's because the roads are all connected.
Right.
The gun laws should be the same for everybody. And then, like, currency should be the same. Like, you can't have different currency state to state. That would be ridiculous. We don't, obviously, but I mean, if somebody wanted to do that, it would be absurd. And then border safety, keeping our borders secure. That's a federal thing. The state should have absolutely no say in it. Like, I don't care if California wants to let everybody walk through their southern border. It shouldn't be up to California. It should be up to federal.
Yeah, they can have the border with Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. Yeah, if they want to do whatever they want with those ones, that's fine. But that's an international fucking border, dude.
The one between Mexico. So if California just lets in 1 billion illegal immigrants, they're not going to stay in California. That's going to affect Nevada.
Yeah, and they're free to go wherever.
Affect Arizona, and then all the states past those ones too. It shouldn't be up to California. Yeah,
once they're in the country, they're free to go where the fuck they want.
Exactly.
And like you said, they're not all going to stay in California.
Yeah, and it's going to go. It's going to have a greater effect on the states right next to it with the direct border, and it's going to have a lesser effect on the states on their borders, and it's
the further away you get, the less it's affecting it, but still it's going to affect everybody.
A lot more people than just in the one state. So that's unacceptable to me. Like, that should be federal.
Yeah. Yeah, that absolutely should be. Yeah. So the international border, like California actually gets to decide how that works?
Well, they're trying to sue to stop Trump's wall and shit like that, as far as I remember.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Claiming it's unconstitutional or something like that. And it's like, no, that's really blatantly federal power.
Yeah. Yeah, an international border, you know, I don't care what states are along it, because obviously my state's along it too. Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't be able to fucking decide what the fuck the borders are there. Yeah, although ours are kind of, you know, we pretty much kind of went the other way on it in California. But yeah, it still really should be something that's universal for international borders.
And this is one of those things where September 20th, here I'll share the thing. But this is one of those things where I honestly think the president should disregard the courts. California sues to stop Trump's border wall. No one gets to ignore the laws, not even the president. The California Attorney General, Xavier Becerra, I'm sure he's a Republican, filed a lawsuit Wednesday alleging that U.S. President Trump's proposal to expedite construction of the wall at the U.S.-Mexico border violates laws aimed at protecting the environment. And so the way I look at it is, at this point, the president should disregard the lawsuit and continue doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not up to California to decide whether the border wall is there or not. And this is clearly a political case, and I would just continue to build it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, is, you know, how many, I know people kind of blew him off and fucking said he's full of shit, but how many fucking illegal aliens, people that are not citizens, voted in California?
Oh, I'm sure a lot. They were encouraged to.
Yeah, like I'm thinking millions. I don't know if I'm being crazy by assuming it, but I'm thinking millions, dude.
Obama flat out on national fucking television encouraged illegal immigrants to vote.
Yeah.
And I think that is unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm amazed, dude, that actually gets through. And the fucking press, well, the press was sucking Obama off the entire time he was in office, dude. It was really fucking bizarre to watch, man.
He was like George Bush Jr. #2, except worse. Like, he was not a Democrat. Like, everybody wants to claim he was a Democrat. The only two things he did that were Democrat were the fucking Affordable Care Act and DACA. Everything else was straight up like globalist Republican.
Yeah, there's really very little difference. That was one other thing my doctor had kind of pointed out. The fact that the Bushes and the Clintons have fucking Thanksgiving together. Yeah. Like, there's really no difference between these people. They're all out for themselves. It's a ruling
class. It's an elite ruling class, and we need to basically destroy it.
Yeah, and the differences are fucking cosmetic, dude. You know what I mean? Between Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. Ivy League schools are a training ground for politicians to run the country. Yeah. And if we want to do something about it, ultimately, it isn't there yet, but ultimately it's going to come down to, we're going to have to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, it's literally, it's horrible, man.
Like,
but
we have to go through and just execute all these like elitist families that are running things, and that's really the only way you do it, because
there's nothing else that's going to stop them. Yeah, it would be, you'd have to start targeting people enough to where they're actually going to fear. You know, all the elites are going to end up fearing that happening to them and fucking acting right. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Trump is a step in the right direction in that it really shook that power base and made a big statement of like, hey, look how far we're willing to go to get away from your power. Like, look how extreme the American people are willing to say, look, we're not going to take your shit anymore.
Yeah.
And this crazy motherfucker who talks about grabbing her by the pussy and is willing to actually say, yeah, you know what? A lot of the people coming over the border are fucking criminals.
Yeah.
We don't want them here.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the legal Hispanics or whoever in this country they hate the fucking illegals more than fucking white people or anybody else, dude. You know?
I don't care where they come from. We have, you know, thousands of Eastern Europeans that are illegally in the country. I want them out too. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have to come here legally. You know, that is something
I don't
that
care
can
what
happen.
race it is. It's not about race. It's about whether or not they should be in the country.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't
But
know
yeah,
that it's
I think Democrats and maybe a lot of politicians actually assume that, like, you know, here in Arizona and California, that the Hispanics or Mexicans, whoever that are here illegally, like, I think they really assume that all of them just love illegal immigrants, and that's so not the fucking case. Or it isn't here. I don't know how it is where you live, but you know, most of the minority people that I know,
you would be hard pressed to find people in California who would openly talk about that in public.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how Trump got elected. Like, nobody claimed, you know, everybody claimed they weren't going to vote for him, and then everybody fucking voted for him.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. See here, yeah. People are a lot more free to. Yeah, like I said, Arizona kind of sucks in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of really good shit about living here, man.
Well, I just recently changed registration for voting to Republican because I'd rather vote in the Republican primaries and try to, you know, keep the party changing towards the good, because it's right now it's the one swinging the country back towards sanity.
Right.
And the minute it is not, I'll switch parties again.
Yeah, I really think that, like, the Democratic Party should just die. I would really rather see the Democratic Party die and, like, the Libertarian Party take its place.
Yeah, like the Independents or Libertarians, definitely.
Yeah. Although the Libertarians, the fact that, like, the Koch brothers are sponsoring them, and, you know, like, that makes me a little nervous. But, you know, as long as the Libertarians are libertarian about personal rights and not so libertarian about corporate rights, I think that would be perfect.
I would really like to see ultimately, like, at least 4 or 5 different parties be viable.
Yes, yeah, that would be ideal, man.
So much more expensive to buy off politicians that it was almost like they just wouldn't have as much chance.
Yeah, I don't know. You think that would really make that much of a difference
in, like, the presidential race? No, but in all the, like, people who are making the laws, the Congress and the Senate, that's an exponential increase. You're talking 600 seats, and then suddenly you're talking about instead of 1,200 people running, you're talking about, you know, 3,600 people running at least.
Oh, okay. You're saying because there would be a lot more, like if one politician's getting paid off, they can get the rest of the Democrats or the rest of the Republicans, depending on what they are, to kind of go along with it without them having to pay off everybody.
If there's only 1,200 people you got to worry about paying off, it's not as expensive as if there's 3,600 people you got to worry about paying off.
Right.
And it goes up exponentially because then you got to figure out who's running in the primaries to determine who's even running for that party. So are you paying 3,600 people off, or are you actually going through and looking at, we're going to cover our bets with all the people in the primary, so now you got 7,200 people to pay off because there's, you know, at least 2 major candidates for each seat for each party.
Right.
I mean, it really creates a lot.
Yeah, they'd have to be really selective about who they're going to fucking try to buy off or whatever. And
parties that are viable.
Yeah. Okay.
You never know when there's going to be an upset because somebody's really willing to actually work for the people, and the people get it. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going to vote this guy this time.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Oh shit! Before I kind of want to get this out real quick. Have you seen Styx's video on the Trump tax plan?
No, I haven't. But from what I've heard, Trump's tax plan makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's very little. He basically, I think he kind of wished there was a little more for you know, like small self-employed people. But he pretty much admits that's because that's what he is. Yeah. But yeah, beyond that, he was like, you know, this looks really fucking good because basically it's taking the main part of it. It really does seem to be, you know, helping the lower to mid-income level people, lower to middle class, and then the corporate rate. It's going from 35% down to 20%, but it's going to eliminate a lot of those fucking deductions that the bigger corporations get. That essentially, you know, makes it possible to where they're really not paying anything. They're paying like 1 or 2%, even though the tax rate's technically 35%. So it's going to make it, you know, it would make a huge difference because those companies can't, you know, exploit the loopholes to, you know, end up paying nowhere near the 35% or whatever.
Oh, one of the things I think he's also looking at eliminating that I thought was a really good thing was, damn it, hold on a second. I will get there. Inheritance tax.
Oh, yeah.
Inheritance tax, which is total horseshit.
It really
Somebody's
is,
already
dude.
paid all these taxes, making all this money, and then suddenly you got to pay taxes again because somebody died.
Yeah, because they died.
Like that they've already paid.
It really is. It really is fucking ridiculous, dude. Yeah, I'm amazed that that's lasted.
The ultimate tax plan would be one that eliminates any sort of double tax. So if you already paid income tax on your money, you shouldn't have to pay like sales tax.
Yeah, just passing it on to your kids, and just because of that, you're going to have to tax again.
Have to pay property taxes. I don't think that's not right. You should own the property outright, and it shouldn't be taxable. You shouldn't have to pay sales tax on anything. Just an income tax, and that should be all that you pay for your federal and your state. And that's you only get taxed once on anything.
Yeah, it is pretty outrageous, the different levels of fucking taxes they fucking levy on us. Yeah. So plus, considering how much is wasted, dude, that's what makes it fucking way worse. The fact that they're...
I actually pulled up on the thing. I don't know if you can see it, but it simplifies all the rates. So it would actually raise money from $191,000 to $416,000 per year by 2%, but it lowers for everybody over that. It condenses the sort of middle income class to middle upper income class to 25% for everybody, and then 12% for everybody down here, which is a raise on the people under $9,000, but it's a substantial lowering for all the people over $9,000. So that's pretty reasonable to me. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to definitely simplify shit, because it really does seem like the tax code is way, way more complicated than it needs to be.
And the vast majority of people are right here, so the vast majority of people are going to pay 3% less taxes per year.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big deal.
No, it's great for the fucking average person, which is probably why nobody will fucking vote for it.
Yeah,
none of the fucking senators will fucking vote for it.
Oh, this is good for me, at least. And for you, it looks like. If my filing status is single, no children, which is what it is, current deduction is $6,350, and the deduction under Trump plan would be $12,000. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Deduction and exemption is $10,000, and then deduction under the plan with Trump. That essentially means like they take that out before they calculate how much you owe.
Yeah, he said like basically single, you'll your first 10,000 or whatever is tax free. If you're married, it's double that basically, right?
I would pay almost no taxes. I make about $15,000 a year.
Yeah. So you'd only pay it on that extra $3,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I think very little in the way of income tax, which is reasonable. I make very little money.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of crazy how they would tax. Yeah, anybody making that little minimum wage or whatever. Yeah, it never made sense to me that they paid any significant amount of taxes, dude.
Yeah, and so so more tax filers. So it looks like if you look at this, the vast majority of taxes are being paid by the very lower classes. Yeah. The higher you go, the less people are paying as taxes. So
when we get done here, watch Styx's video because he breaks it down really well too, man. Yeah, because it's kind of a thing, like
just kind of give people an idea.
Yeah. But yeah, he kind of really breaks it down. He's like, this is kind of genius because like if especially the Democrats, if they fucking rail against this, he's gonna be like, how the fuck can you claim you're for, the hard working man if you're going to fucking turn this down?
Yeah, you're going to give all their money away to the corporations instead of charging the corporations all this money so that they're actually paying taxes. And I think they should get a higher rate for like the next couple of decades just to fucking make up for all the taxes they haven't paid.
Yeah, no shit. No doubt, man.
And then it lowers back down to a reason. Like, make it real fucking clear. Be like, yeah, guess what? You fucked up. You fucked up, and now you get punished for fucking everyone else over.
Yeah, and you motherfuckers
done with that, we'll come back down to it.
Yeah, make it like make it retroactive, man. To where like, okay, you were supposed to pay 35%, and you only paid 4% for these many years, and you should have been paying at least the 20%. So I don't want to
suddenly have all the corporations shut down overnight. That would be really bad.
Yeah, no, not having
corporations. That would be
not having them pay it all in one lump sum, but yeah, they should definitely have to pay a little higher over time.
I think if you just charge them a little higher rate for the next decade, it'd make a real clear point.
Right.
Like, and in 10 years' time, the tax rate for you guys lowers back down once you've made up for your bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be really nice to see, man. I'm really curious how Trump would be perceived if the media was just attempted to be objective. Yeah, honest, objective, or attempted, again, complete. I understand complete objectivity is impossible, but it can at least be attempted.
Let me put this in perspective. My parents are both absolutely anti-Trump. So he gets up and does a speech about people getting together and working as Americans to make the world a better place. And they'll come back and say he's a bigoted, racist cunt, and he was talking about killing people.
Jeez, dude.
The words he actually says seem to have absolutely nothing to do with what they think he's saying.
Yeah, nobody listens. They just identify people as the enemy, and that's all they know. And they're just like, this person's...
It's bizarre. It makes no sense. It's like he's like, I think that Americans need to pull together, and that these racial tensions are terrible, and that if we work together to make our country better and improve our economy, and people will have more jobs, and people will be happier, and everything will be better. And they'll be like, God, that racist motherfucker. He was talking about killing Jews. And you're like, he didn't even say anything about Jews.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing, dude. It's the ideological kind of brainwashing. People are on. This is another one that I came up with that I was hoping was original. Another one of my unoriginal thoughts. Ideological autopilot.
Yeah.
They're just like, this is what I am, and anybody who's not this is the enemy, and I'm not going to think about it. I don't care what they say. I'm not going to think about what they're actually saying or doing. They're the enemy, and we're not. These guys aren't, and these guys are.
We have Kim Jong-un launching missiles over Korea or South Korea and over Japan, blatantly making threats of war, very credible ones, as he's demonstrating, as he violates our treaties.
Right.
And they're like, why aren't you sending all your soldiers to Puerto Rico? Because we might have to go kill this dude.
Right.
All our soldiers
do you realize
prepared to prevent nuclear war?
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think is more important?
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
I feel bad for Puerto Rico, man. They're in a shitty way, and I want to help.
Absolutely.
But I also don't want nuclear war.
Yeah. Yeah, one kind of supersedes the other. Fucking the potential annihilation of all life on the planet, or Puerto Rico's,
Well, it's not that bad, but I mean, it's like potential annihilation of a very large section of the U.S. from a couple of bombs.
Yeah,
because he's not going to send over the kind of nuclear bombs that once they explode and do damage, they don't leave radiation for 150 years or whatever. Yeah. He's going to send over the ones that like you have dead zones like fucking what's that power plant that exploded in the Soviet Union?
No, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, like where there's just giant dead zones, you can't go anymore.
For half a decade or whatever, or half a decade, half a century. Sorry, half a century.
You still can't go in places in Chernobyl. Like there's still not safe.
Yeah, it's still definitely
multiple centuries. I don't think we're talking half a century. I think we're talking about 500 years before Chernobyl will be safe to go again.
Yeah, like there's technically wildlife and shit that live there, but they don't really stay anywhere. Yeah, they don't stay in there.
Well, I mean, what is it? The Destination Truth, the Josh Gates guy we talked about with Mourn. That dude and his crew went to Chernobyl, and you still have to go through and wear like radiation suits and if you don't want to die.
Right. Wow, I didn't realize it was that severe still. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is centuries.
The soldiers that are stationed there have to drink every day. They have to drink these potassium supplements to keep the radiation levels down.
Wow.
Yeah, and they only work there for like a year, and then they're transferred because of cancer and stuff. They don't want to end up with terrible cancer.
Yeah, and he doesn't even need the missiles, man. I mean, he can really put him in a sub, park it just offshore, and blow him up and fuck shit up. Especially like Tokyo, San Francisco, LA.
If the UN thing fails, I think Trump is trying the UN thing in order to just sort of like this is how it's done kind of thing.
Right.
You start by talking to the UN. When the UN inevitably decides they're not going to do anything because they're giant pussies.
Yeah, and I think he knows that. It's a formality that he's going to the UN.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, all right, I'm going to do this, but then that way he can say, look, I tried, they didn't do shit.
Yeah, I think Trump is probably at this point just waiting for any kind of attack, no matter how minute, in order to justify it.
Yeah, it's almost like he's goading him on.
I think he should. The missiles over Japan were enough. That violates their airspace. It violates.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Japan. Yeah, well, I guess they kind of changed their policy or whatever, but which is kind of shocking. But
I don't think we're their allies. I think we together we should have gone.
All right. Yeah, because aren't they not allowed to have the military? Because we kind of take care of that since World War II.
No, Japan has some limited Air Force and Navy,
but limited though, because of World War II, right?
Yeah, but they do have.
That's the effect. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why we should be, like you said, we should be going in, man.
Yeah, we should have. As soon as they launched the first missile over Japan, we should have crippled all of their airfields, destroyed all their airplanes, all their air capabilities, taken out all their artillery, and just let the South Koreans roll in.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, man, you gotta make sure you take out any spot that might be able to launch a nuke. You gotta make sure those are fucking taken out immediately, simultaneously. Because goddamn, if he gets one off and it hits Seoul or it hits Japan, holy shit, man.
Well, and that's why we can't send the Air Force and every other fucking military to Puerto Rico, is because we're probably going to need them very soon. And if we did send them, that is inevitably when Kim Jong-un would attack.
Yeah.
He's not crazy. He's going to wait till there's an ebb in the forces that are arrayed to destroy him.
Well, he's crazy. He's just not stupid.
Yeah. But he's going to wait for a chance. That's why he wants the nukes.
Yeah. So when we're spread thin or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm just glad we didn't have Hillary, because we would have been in war in like Iran and Russia and all these other places at the same time.
Syria. Yeah, the way she was talking on Russia and Syria, we were absolutely going to be at war, dude.
Yeah.
She was fucking proud of it, dude.
Like that was going to sell.
Yeah. Like, dude, there's nobody that can deny the way she was talking about the fucking no-fly zone or all that shit. There was nobody that didn't understand that meant war, dude.
Yeah.
Or at least nobody
I was going to say, I love the fact that most people were like, what the fuck is wrong with, why would we want to fight Russia? Like, what are you even on about?
Yeah, like they might not be quite what they used to, but they still have fucking nukes, man. A lot of them.
And then it's just like they've done nothing to provoke us.
Right. Yeah. Ugh.
Like Russia's been pretty much minding their own business, and we've crippled their economy. What else do you need to do? Like, it's kind of like the bully walking over to the kid they just beat up and then kicking him in the balls a few more times for good measure.
Right.
Like,
the Cold War.
They want to do this.
We won the Cold War. Why would you want to fucking warm that shit up, dude?
Yeah. It's like you're whipping the dead horse, so you start feeding electric current in so you can keep it twitching.
Yeah, let's hope you still feel this fucker.
Yeah.
Fucking electrocute you. Just hopefully that it fucking hurts more.
Yeah, exactly. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, she was fucking crazy, dude. She had lost her goddamn mind. Yeah, I'm glad she's out. McCain, and my fucking senator, he appears to have lost his fucking mind. These people need to get the fuck out. Mm.
I'm hoping his next election is his last.
Yeah, the problem is he just got elected, like not that long ago. So.
Oh, I know, but he only gets 2 years, I think.
No, it's 6, dude. He's a senator is 6, dude.
That's too bad.
Yeah, he's not going to live 6 years, so. He's got a fucking brain tumor, dude.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's not grounds to have him removed immediately. Like, a brain tumor should get you removed from office immediately.
Yeah.
Regardless of the office.
Right.
Regardless of the brain tumor. It could be a really small one that's easily removed, but as soon as you've got one, you should be out.
Yeah, at least temporarily until you get it fucking removed.
And
you get it cleared. Huh?
I think permanently. Anytime you do brain surgery, there's an extreme risk of
changing
the personality of the person.
Yeah, I've had a couple friends of mine have brain tumors removed.
I'm not saying it goes wrong every time. I'm just saying because there's a risk, you should just never allow it.
Yeah.
Sort of like the military doesn't allow people with depression. Like, I want the best and the brightest, bar none, in charge of the government. I don't want somebody who's had brain surgery in charge of the government. They could be a doctor. I got no problem with that. That's a whole different thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely want to, some proof that they're. Yeah, it'd probably be safer. You're probably right. Yeah, I was thinking like they do some kind of competency thing, but yeah, you're right. It's probably better off that they're just not there.
Just the fact that, like, remember there was the guy that got a piece of rebar like through his head that severed the corpus callosum, the bridge between the two sides of the brain.
Yeah.
And he survived and he was fine, but suddenly he was like a mean fighting guy all the time.
Yeah, Phineas Gage, dude.
Yeah. And so
that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and I'm just saying, look, there's too much of a chance when you fuck with the brain, something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, no matter how good the surgeon is.
It's not gonna be the guy that comes out. Even though most of the time it is. It's just like, I don't want to take the small risk.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I was kind of thinking it through as we were talking, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not a risk that's worth taking, dude.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I wouldn't have a problem with a trans person. You already know there's a potential for instability ahead of time, so that's what they're voting for.
Right.
It's like, all right, that's what you guys want. I don't agree with it, but that's but I don't necessarily not agree with it. I might agree with it depending on the person.
Right.
I'd vote for Blair.
Yeah, that's the problem I had with the fucking whole Hillary. We have to have a woman president thing. Is like, holy shit, it doesn't really matter. Like Michelle Obama came out and said, all you women who voted for Trump, you were voting against yourselves. And I'm like, okay, so all the men that voted for Hillary were voting against themselves? Is that how that works?
Yeah, are we really teams again? Because I thought we were just people.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. The ID politics.
50% of the population I don't want to put my penis in.
Right.
But,
the equality ends there. I have no problems with them. I just don't want to stick my cock in a guy's ass or mouth or anywhere else, dude.
Yeah. But I'm not going to vote based on who I want to put my penis in. I'm going to vote based on who I think is going to do the best job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, all women voted against their interests because they voted for a man instead of a woman.
Because all women must immediately be the same woman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, they all think exactly the same, dude.
100%.
All one big group thing, dude.
All their needs are 100% the same?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, man. Nobody's different. We're all cookie cutters, dude. Cookie cutter versions, dude.
Yeah, the whole fucking thing is just so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insulting, dude. Yeah, like I said, I've got a lot of friends that are minorities that fucking love Trump and think, like NFL fans that are like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Oh
man, have you seen the new thing that's going on with that? Where like people are just burning all their NFL gear.
Oh yeah, that's a little dumb too, I think, but
I know, but it's crazy. Like I would never expect it to go that far, especially when it's like veterans.
Right.
Literally, they're like crying on camera, like, "I can't believe you would betray our country like this. I can't justify watching you're supporting you anymore. I'm going to destroy and burn all your shit." Like,
yeah. That's actually, although I kind of think it's kind of silly, but it's a lot more of a fucking statement than whatever the fuck they're doing. Whatever the players and owners are doing. They're just posturing bullshit. These people are genuinely fucking pissed, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's not bullshit. They're like, fuck you, assholes. You're going to fucking disrespect the flag. Trump didn't write the anthem. He didn't fucking design the flag. He's just the guy that happens to be in charge right now. What the fuck does that have to do with the flag or the anthem?
Yeah. Well, and then it is kind of silly because burning the stuff that you already paid for doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And it certainly isn't going to help that whole Nazi thing.
Yeah, maybe you could sell it to somebody, like, you know, give it away, sell it real cheap, and donate it to an anti-NFL charity or something.
Yeah, there you go.
You know?
I don't know if there's an anti-NFL charity.
Nah, probably not. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there probably is not.
Well, and then there's the head injury thing when it comes to like the NFL.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are suffering from some traumatic brain injuries in there that aren't really getting treated or caught, and there's really not enough prevention.
Although it's definitely a lot better now. Like the concussion protocol is way better now. Well, again, yeah, they got sued for a shitload of money. That probably had something to do with it.
Yeah.
What did they lose, like $500 million or something like that?
Yeah, it's improved. They still haven't really done everything they can.
Right. Well, you'd almost have to put your hand touch to doing everything they can.
Well, no, I mean, there's like helmet technology that.
Oh, right.
You know, when a player has received a
certain level hit
that's too high, and that they should be off the field after that for like a couple hours.
Yeah, like they should have to be checked out.
Yeah, and they're not doing that because it would make the games take too long, and they might have to have too many players.
How do they not know that's like that is going to open them up for another lawsuit? Like, how do they not understand that? Like, there's shit that you can do, but because it's inconvenient, you didn't do it.
It's a cost thing. It's probably cheaper to pay off the lawsuit than it is to prevent it.
Wow.
That's my guess. I can only guess at that, but that's my most likely guess, I would say.
I would be surprised, man. That's helmets. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty decent technology, but wow. It can't be like
the helmets look goofy.
Technology.
They look goofy. They're like twice as big, and because they got all the wiring and stuff in there, and they're extra padded.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and they're super expensive now because they haven't been,
they just came
using them.
Yeah.
But like some high schools and stuff, I think are being required to use them, and some like Pop Warner leagues and shit like that.
Yeah, I honestly think Pop Warner leagues shouldn't exist. I don't think kids should be playing that young, dude. At least not tackle. Not tackle anyway. Two-hand, the flags. I was gonna say two-hand touch, but that's dumb. But yeah, flag, football, no problem with that, dude. But yeah, actually have kids tackling it. They start young, man. I don't know if they do it where you're at, but
especially because a lot of times those are done by age, and not everybody grows up and hits those growth spurts at the same time.
Right.
So you can have a 7-year-old that's like a foot taller than every other 7-year-old, just brutally fucking hammering everybody.
Yeah. No, dude, I remember going to the games when my extra son was playing, and there would be, our team was always way fucking smaller than everybody. They were little scrappy fuckers, but they were always way smaller. And there was like 3 kids. This one kid was dragging 3 of my son's teammates down the field. It still took a 4th kid to come over and tackle this fucker. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of shit it's like, if you got to do that kind of stuff by weight and size.
Yeah,
do it by age.
I think they've changed it here now where it is actually by weight. Like, you have to be within certain parameters. Like, it's still by age, basically. But if you're too big, you're going to have to go up to the higher age one, even if you're not that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those things where it's like, you get people just brutalizing other people because they're like twice their fucking size.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy, man.
I mean, really, at that point, was the audience just busting up laughing because there's like one dude dragging 3 little kids down the fucking?
Yeah, I was, but I wasn't really checking for anyone else. But yeah, it was pretty goddamn funny, dude. Like, this dude, he's not moving very far, but he's definitely still moving with 3 dudes hanging on him. Yeah. Oh shit! What time is it, man?
It's done about 3.5 hours. I was about to say we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, my son's gonna be home any minute here. So, yeah, that was a good talk, man. As always.
Thank you to our audience for joining us until you started talking about politics, or not politics, but economy, and they all left.
Right.
But anyway,
trying to educate you fuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.
Adios.